Good morning.
Morning. Oh, I got my eyelashes like inside out. What the fuck? I blinked and now I have an eyelash in my eyeball.
Nice.
Anyway. Yeah, why are we evening? What do you guys it's the morning. You guys are crazy. I mean, it might be evening for LFQ. It probably is evening.
Yeah, he's the only one who's allowed.
Brightside, you didn't go to sleep, did you? So it's like still evening for you?
Does he beat the game in all night?
Yeah, what have you been up to, bro? I don't know. We get some good evenings. We don't get any responses, just good evenings. All right, I see how it is. Sleep, is that something old people do? Yeah, actually. It's weird. You like want to sleep at weird times. You don't want to sleep when it's like bedtime. You just want to sleep. And then when you do, you regret it. Yeah, same actually. Yeah, I hope everyone, if you guys had a holiday, you had a good one. Mine was pretty good. Saw the family, did family type shit. It was cool. We hung out, ate some turkey, and yeah, it was good. I hope you guys did some things. LFQ, what did you guys do? You guys probably have like special holidays that are like significant in your country. Yeah, I want to know about like Danish holidays, dude. The fuck? Here, hold on. I'm gonna start looking up Danish holidays now. Okay, you guys have like Christian holidays. Okay, that makes sense. They're all in the first half of the year, then Christmas at the end. Yeah, we're kind of the opposite in the US. We have like no holidays at the beginning of the year, and we only have holidays for like November, December. It's like pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys do proper Christmas too on the 25th instead of whatever, Russian Christmas is in like fucking January. That makes sense. Nice.
Ironically, it sounded like you said proper Christmas, and then you said something about Russian Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Tony, I need to step away real quick. Are you good? You got the helm?
I'm chilling.
Okay, cool. I'll be back, guys. I'll miss you. I'll be right back.
Only Christmas. Whoever playing that shit was not good at planning evenly. Yeah, ours is kind of the same. They definitely like. You'll see some companies that want to like give their employees more holidays that start giving fairly weird esoteric holidays off sometimes that I'd never remember having off when I was a kid and stuff like that. But I mean, good on them for giving people days off. It's kind of weird that they have to find a strange reason to do it, I guess. 2 weeks off for Christmas and can't wait. Nice. That's gonna be awesome, dude. What are you gonna do? Play a lot of video games? Shit, Boom's here with the Beppis. Everybody put your ponchos on. Boom, you made my top streamer list. I hope you saw. Omni has a ton of projects to do. I'm sure I would find those interesting. I'm also trying to do a lot of projects over break in December and stuff, and plan to not have as much time when the new year starts. Alrighty, well, let's get some Unreal Engines going, eh? Boom or Brightside, did you guys go to 5.7 yet? Or are you still on? I don't know if you guys are on 5.6. I would hope you're on 5.6 at least, but I tried to go to 5.7 yesterday and it made everything really dark, and I got to figure out why that is before I keep going, but it didn't really seem like I had any trouble upgrading otherwise. Boom is retargeting in 5.7. Nice. Did they make an... I did see some stuff about like a new animation workflow, so is there new retargeting stuff now? some of the stuff I was seeing, like control rig updates, was looking like they were going to be pretty cool. Supposed to be stuff I haven't gotten to it yet. Yep, I definitely understand how that goes. I really want to mess around with the mega foliage stuff, but it is just so much new stuff to learn, and I don't know if it's really necessary for this project or not. So definitely, you know, Hyperscape's going to get probably re-engineered pretty heavily by the time we get back to it, because there's been a lot of improvements to the world partition stuff, and you know, the trees and stuff has been a big headache for us with the big open world. So it'd be cool to not have to deal with that anymore. Boom says, I bought so many things from Fab, I want to do a million things. Yes, yeah, no, I definitely hear you. That pack that you guys told me about from Fab that had like the 100 things in it or whatever, I've barely even like, I looked through it one time when we first bought it and haven't really ever since, but there's some cool stuff in there, a lot of nice Niagara examples and things. Did you buy anything like cool and fancy, like any, I don't know, the one I always look at is like Fluid Flux is a big one that I would really like to buy, but it's so expensive. But the things I see people do with it are incredible. Greg says, one day when I grow up, I want to model my house in Unreal and make it so you can walk up to all the censored projects I've done in each room and interact with them. Nice, dude. Well, if you ever want help, let me know. I've actually kind of done that just to lay my basement out before. I found it useful to like block it out and look at it in VR so I could figure out how it would feel. And it's been a good time. LFQ, did you guys have a good give thinkings? Yeah, mine was great. Just hung out with the family. I was up in the mountains for a couple days with my wife and my dogs and my parents. Cut down some trees with a chainsaw. That was exciting. While we're waiting for Vince to come back, I can show you guys this new thing that I was working on. So we've been having big stutters and whatnot as we're walking through the neighborhood here. So I made a new system. I'm pretty sure it'll work here if I just hit simulate, where instead of it spawning in all of these houses and all of their instance meshes as I need them, what it does is it pre-spawns a batch of them deep underneath the world down here somewhere. And if I go on lit, it'll be a little easier to see. And then as we move around the neighborhood, it will basically just grab from like this queue down here and move them in and out. So if I can go in here, I can hit the simulate forward, and we're not going to see anything appear really here yet, because when a new section is appearing, it's actually spawning in the things that it needs. But now if I go into another section, there's going to be some leftovers, so they're going to end up getting moved back down here. And then you can actually see them kind of like get grabbed as the new section is spawning too. So if I step forward again, you'll see a lot of these are going to go away because they're getting reused up there. But the big benefit of that is, instead of the game going spawn 1,000 meshes every time we hit a transition area, it's really just moving a bunch of stuff from location to location, and it ends up making the stuttering almost go away completely. So
I'm back. It was a huge performance improvement, actually, with the re-architecting that Tony and Simple Sins did.
Yep.
Very good shit. Yes, Tony he didn't have a hockey mask on.
No, it was like a mesh like face guard.
Oh, you did have a face guard.
Yeah. And it's funny because my dad and I went back out later in the afternoon just to like cut up the down trees. And we didn't take most of the safety equipment because we were starting to feel a lot more comfortable with the chainsaw, and we weren't going to be falling into trees. We were just going to be like cutting down some logs into smaller logs. And the last log that we were cutting, he goes to cut it and it breaks off from the rest of the log and it rolls, and this branch just slashes him across the face, and it looks like he got clawed by a fucking bear on his cheek now. And I was like, we should have worn the mask thing. This is what it's for. But it was literally the last cut of the day. It was kind of funny.
I don't know if the face guard's as important as the pants, LFQ. The pants are fucking really important.
Chaps that went over the pants.
Yeah. Because like it's really easy to fucking accidentally whack yourself in the leg with a chainsaw.
You just drop it while the chain's going right through your femur. Yep.
Yeah, you'll just die. You'll just be like, oh no.
And to be honest, like this is the second time that we've done trees with the chainsaw. My parents have a couple acres up in the mountains, so we have been trying to deal with like the beetle kill and stuff. But the first time we were so scared of the thing that like we didn't even do a very good job of cutting down trees, but we both did a lot of research between then and now, and we were really scared when we started this time. But by the end of it, definitely felt a lot more comfortable and not like I was going to accidentally cut my own leg off or anything, which was nice. So, you know, it's been good getting that experience. And we did buy, yeah, all of the safety equipment though.
Chainsaw to the face. You guys are silly for talking about that. I think that's extremely rare. I think most people have like good reflexes for like.
I think you're more worried about the chain hitting something and breaking.
Yeah, and then
chopping you in the face. That'd still be really bad. They say you got to worry about like if somebody shot a bullet into a tree and you're cutting it with a chainsaw, you can hit the bullet and it'll break the chain and stuff. It's kind of scary because there's just no way to know.
It is not extremely rare. I thought it was rare to the face, but very common to the arm or the leg. Like really
the
common.
Chain breaking is definitely just scary in general and like kind of just something I feel like I'm worried about the whole time. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's dangerous work, like, but that's like all tools, right? You got to be careful with them. You got to treat them with respect. Don't, you know, swing them around like a lightsaber.
Holding a chainsaw feels like holding a gun. I like really find myself like, am I pointing it the right way? You know, are my fingers in the right place? Like triple checking everything before I start it up. Like it's just, you got to treat it with that level of respect, I think.
All right, hold on. Omni, what is your chainsaw credentials? Because I've used a chainsaw 3 times in my life. I feel like you've used a chainsaw 0 times. I feel like you just watched videos of chainsaw accidents, and that's what you're going off of here. Chainsaw can backlash right back at you and jerk up. The chain doesn't move that way.
It can get wedged
pulls down.
And it can like jerk the saw up and like stuff like that. I know we were kind of running into that too. It's like the, you know, log would kind of pinch the.
Oh
blade.
yeah. And it'll like torque it out of your hands. Yes.
Yep.
But it doesn't pop back towards you. It goes down, like, because the chain goes this way, so it pulls the thing down. At least that's what I've been experienced with.
I think you're right. Yeah. I mean,
that was the scariest part to me.
Yeah.
It was like once you touch the material you're cutting with it, it fucking sucks into it, and you're like, oh shit. That's what's scary. But it always pulled down when I was using them. All the time when I was younger, we lived up in the hills. I do not believe you. Arms and legs are more often, but to say the face is rare is not accurate. Yep. Yeah, I mean, but aren't you guys don't have a lot of forests, do you? I thought you guys were like water and islands.
I do. That's like the oldest forest in the world, or in like northern
Denmark.
Europe. Yeah.
He goes, what? There we go.
Like, that's like the most forested region on Earth, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's why I said it. I was baiting him. We're like 70% forest. Oh, we got him. All right, let's go, LFQ. Tell me what it is. Educate me. Boom is learning. Boom, you should not have a chainsaw. I'll just tell you that right now. I don't think it would be good for you and anyone near you to have a chainsaw. I'm sure you could get used to it, but you gotta be fucking locked in when you're sawing shit with a chainsaw.
Yeah, and I definitely stayed away from the tip Omni because I don't
know.
Yeah,
dude, what are you doing using the tip of the chainsaw?
Like the way to go for sure.
That's fucking crazy, dude. That's like the first thing I learned about a chainsaw was don't cut anything with the tip of the chainsaw because it's not intended for that. It's
the
supposed
whole
to be
idea
in the middle
of the chainsaw. As you're using it, you're just like, this is like a chain with blades on it that is basically just going between a motor and a pulley with like some tension at very, very fast speeds. It just, the whole idea of it is so scary. Like, wild.
The thing that I was taught was don't full throttle and just fucking get into some shit. You want to be like, you just
you want to keep it even, and it'll start to slow down as you're going through. So you got to give it more gas. But yeah.
Remember, a chainsaw was designed to cut meat and bone. Was it really, LFQ?
Was it really?
Oh my god, Boom. I wanted to rent a chainsaw to cut down some nearby trees. I imagine Boom just lives like in an urban apartment complex and wants to just go downtown.
It's in like a city.
Trees, yeah. LFQ, that's crazy. It was really designed for like meat and bone. Dude, it would ruin the meat. Like, I'm assuming that's not for butchery. It's for like something else. Also, bright side, you're in beanie season, right? Did y'all get some snow? We got fucking snow today. It is on.
Yeah, it snowed good today.
It's weird. It looks bright out here, but it's not. There's like snow over the fucking grate, so it'll start to pile up. We got like 3 or 4 inches, I think. Almost too much to drive my car. I went out to test it earlier.
Oh, you did drive your car?
Yeah. I wanted to see how my tires were. They're okay. I do need to get new tires really soon, though. Pretty sure they're like cooked for summer driving. First designed as a medical device to help in birthing? What the fuck? Dude, you're crazy. What kind of chainsaws they got in Europe? LFQ's out there with the Husqvarna, dude. When it's 70 here, it's beanie season. Omni, stop. If you want to sweat.
It's totally true. Them Californians. I think it's cold when it's like 50.
Yeah. The funniest was in Florida when it was like 68 degrees and everyone was wearing like puffer jackets and shit. And I'm like, what? Brightside, you didn't even acknowledge that I was the most prolific chatter in your stream, and I watched your stream so many times this last year.
Were you the most prolific chatter? Is that a thing?
No. I was like being
impressive.
derisive towards myself because I sent like 4,000 messages in Brightside's chat, which is crazy. I apologize for that. I yap too much. I can't help it, guys. It's my coping mechanism for social interaction. I just fill the space with words.
I'm calling Twitch stats sus though, because
Yeah.
I think Fractal Grove should definitely be in mine, and it's not. So
Yeah. I mean, I had 270, was it 6 hours? 275 hours? 5 doesn't make any sense. 245. How? Oh, I guess we did a couple streams that went long by an hour or so.
yeah, no, totally. And I just feel like there's at least 1 or 2 streams where I had to have been a pretty solid viewer for the entire time. So I don't know.
No, Omni, they're not smart enough to know. Like, I watched myself, I watched that. I always have. Oh, speaking of which, I'm probably breaking my streak right now.
That's definitely what I was
here.
saying. Is like maybe it knew that like my accounts are connected, because I kind of remember doing that at one point, but I don't know.
Okay. Symphysiotomy is a surgical procedure in which the cartilage of the pubic symphysis is divided to widen the pelvis, allowing childbirth when the baby has difficulty fitting through the pelvis. Dude, how the fuck does
With a
that
chainsaw?
not kill the person? What the fuck? I guess maybe that's what it is. It's like that's how they tried to save the baby. And like they were like, well, mom's getting chopped in half with a chainsaw.
That's wild.
So yeah, Omni, I have 245 watch hours for Fractal Grove. That's easily my highest stream. And I've chatted less in Fractal Grove chat than I have in Brightside's chat, which is embarrassing to say the least.
Yeah, I'm looking through like my personal Twitch settings and stuff. I don't see anything. I do kind of remember like doing something to link them together at some point, maybe, but I don't know. It's really weird.
A flexible saw consisting of a fine serrated chain link held between 2 wooden handles. That was like the non-motorized one. Yeah.
I guess that is technically a chainsaw. It doesn't need a motor.
Yeah, exactly. Excision of diseased bone. That probably made it way better because this is like pre-anesthesia, I think. 1700s, yeah. That was when they were like, "Oh, you got the gangrene. We're gonna have to chop that whole bitch off, otherwise you die."
I mean, I think they still have to do that if you get gangrene, but
Yeah, I'm just saying they're like, "Well, you got an infection in your knee. We're amputating mid-thigh." And you're like, "What do you mean?" And they're
or
like,
sorry, I can't do anything. You're gonna die.
Yeah. That's crazy to think about. I'm so glad we have antibiotics. Who was that? Was that Pasteur? No. Yeah, he invented or discovered penicillin, right?
I don't know.
No, it was Fleming. I fucked that up. My bad. I'm sorry.
Then Jonas Salk is vaccinations, I think.
I don't, man. This is my problem with AI. I'm getting all these AI overviews, and it's like telling me people I've never heard of before. They're like, technically, English physician Edward Jenner invented the first vaccine in 1796. Uh-huh. You wanted to make a pasteurization joke? You can still do it, bro. We can pretend. But yeah, I mean, modern medicine, where we all live for a long time, is like early 1900s, guys. Just think about that.
Yep.
Your great grandparents would just fucking die if they weren't hardy. They would just die. Like,
we watched that show Outlander a lot, and they're back in like the 1790s, and she goes back from like the 1970s as a doctor, and so, you know, they use that to contrast a lot of the medical stuff that's going on. But like, I remember one of the episodes, one of the 1790s doctors tells them that they need to blow tobacco smoke up their anus for a problem that they're having. Yeah,
you got ghosts in your blood. Your humors are off. Do some cocaine.
There's one where like this guy dies because he's drinking mercury. You know, like all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think I talked about that when we went to Montana, because we did the like Journey to the West, whatever, Lewis and Clark expedition, and that's how they tracked him, is because they at the time would prescribe mercury for pretty much everything. You would just take mercury because it's a heavy metal. They could follow the expedition based on mercury deposits in the soil. That's crazy to think about. No, Omni, I do not end up trusting AI or Wikipedia. I look at both with like high amounts of skepticism. I usually will click on multiple links to figure something out. And be like, okay, these things are all saying this one thing.
I've noticed that almost anything worth discussing these days devolves into, oh yeah, that's probably AI, which is interesting.
Oh man, that crazy video I sent you earlier, where like this dude was using AI to like take a picture of someone in a public place and create a video on the spot and be like, really, why did you do this?
Fake. I think the entire thing is generated. It's crazy. I don't know how we're gonna fucking deal with this shit.
I think what's going to happen is it's all gonna be banned, or
we're gonna go Dune.
Something really bad will happen and it'll get banned, or everyone will be like, I don't trust this and I'm not going to use it. So it's either going to be like public perception will be like, this is useless, we won't have it.
Yeah.
Or it'll be government regulated and people will just ban it.
Yeah.
Outlander. What is Outlander?
It's a TV show that's on Netflix that's about a doctor from the 1970s who goes back in time to the 1790s in Scotland, and it's kind of about like the Scottish people fighting against the redcoats, and then they go to America a little later in the series, and then it's about they're there during the American Revolution, and since she's from the 1970s, she knows what's going to happen, so you know they make sure to pick the right side in the revolution, and she like tries to invent vaccines and a bunch of stuff like way earlier than she's supposed to, so that she can help people. And I don't know.
I feel like Sparkle watched it.
I didn't like it at first because it just kind of felt like a 1790s Scotland like rom-com, or not rom-com, but just like, you know, romantic like story type thing like that.
Yeah.
It's gotten pretty good over time, but it does have some very brutal like torture and rape and stuff like that like I really have a hard time watching, and it made me
okay, there we go. Sparkle
for a while, so like yeah.
What's the one that you were watching, Sparkle, with the person who goes back in time? Because it sounded a lot similar to that. Why are we wearing beanies? It's snowing, bro. We've got like 3 or 4 inches. How's your snow up there, Cog? Are you guys getting some? I'm excited. It's making me very happy. It's all Christmassy. I mean, we had a very warm fall. It was like 70s for most of it, And then I feel like we got a dusting of snow like a week ago. Yeah, we got like a very light dusting the weekend of Thanksgiving, so last weekend. And then first snow of the season outside of the mountains is today, right now. Started last night, still going. It's pretty good. Snow, I wear a hat year round. Why are you wearing a hat year round, man? Cookie banners are the cause of the EU. Yup. Yes, they are. They really are. Honestly, I appreciate that because I think that's nice. It was becoming pretty fucking crazy in the US with how cookies were tracking people and stuff. And like,
I just click
ads.
reject all on every site.
Yeah, so do I. Like, you sure you want to? We need this. It's helpful for you. No, it's fucking not, dude. Yeah, that makes me think. Tony and I were talking about the AI, you know, if there really is an AI bubble and if it's about to pop. And it was ChatGPT just added the targeted advertisement feature. Is it ChatGPT that did that?
That did what? Oh, the ads?
Where you could be like, yeah, it's like, hey, you mentioned this. Do you want me to add it to your Instacart?
Oh, yeah. It's I think it's only things that are on Shopify right now, but yes.
Yeah, but that's still ass. No, nobody wants that. Like, don't fucking put that in there. You're gonna kill your own tool.
Well, and now they're putting ads in ChatGPT. They've announced which is gonna be a thing, and it just, I don't know. Immediately, everybody's going like, okay, so your thing can recommend products. Like, what's to say you're not gonna like favor people who pay you over people who don't and stuff? And you know, we're just gonna be back in that whole conversation again. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I mean, it's the same problem with AAA game dev that I've told you guys a bunch of times. You got MBAs coming in going, you know what the best way for us to make a ton of money is? Let's put advertisements in here. Let's sell ad space. Like, fucking knock it off. Nobody wants that shit. I know you want it for your business, but you will kill your own tool. You'll destroy your own product. Yeah, bright side, dev's good. We kind of like took a chill week. So one of the things that I think is really important, I'm sure we've all worked plenty of jobs where holidays don't really give you time to break, and you always like rush into the holiday, and then you get like some time off, but it's always filled with like social pressure and being with family and all that other stuff, which can be very exhausting. So for us, Tony and I have talked about this from like day one. Family always comes first. Spend time with people you care about. We will get shit done when it gets done. Like, that's one of the benefits of not having a, partnership with someone where we're like held to deadlines and contracts and obligations and shit like that. You guys are our publisher. So we're trying to hold our agreements with you guys, but we don't have like a legal contract in place. It's like, you have to deliver this thing at this time, which means that people can't take a break and people can't relax and be human beings. Like, at the beginning of, the most important thing is that we're all human beings. We all have lives. We don't live to work, right? Like, just have fun with this. Like, making video games is supposed to be fun. Spend time with people, because at the end of your life, you're not going to look back and be like, oh man, I'm so glad I crunched for, 6 months straight to ship this game. That game is not going to be on your fucking deathbed being like, I have all these cherished memories with you. It's not going to work that way. So, yeah, it's butt cheeks. What's up, Adder? Yeah, dude. No. We're doing. So I was wearing my hat like this, and then I got hot, and so I was like, hold on. Then I get one of these things and did the little pinch. There we go, and now we're chilling. and then Tony was like, dude, I'm doing it too, and I was like, all right. We'll let it go. I'm so thankful I missed out on core memories of my grandparents while they were alive to ship COD. Absolutely zero regrets. Yeah, dude.
Bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I've made sacrifices to my own life for not even making video games, for like working technical support for the backbone of the internet. And I was like, why did I fucking do that? Immediate regret. It was like, this was not worth it at all. I don't want to do that anymore. So Yeah, so I made sure. I was like, guys, you can work on stuff if you want to, but just chill, please. Like, take time, be with your family, relax, take some time off. Let's just chill. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. If we pump enough AI into our games, it will appreciate us on our deathbeds. No, it won't. Turning cog. Non-Unreal dev. Yeah, are you talking about? I don't want to spoil it. You talking about the thing that we talked about this morning before stream?
No, I'll show them.
Okay,
we can
cool.
Talk about some of the topics that we got too. So, this is what I was working on for fun over Thanksgiving, but it's our stream control center type thing. I have a lot of like stream integrated things that I plan to do with this, but we always talk about like these news stories and stuff. So this thing that I built, I'm gonna pull it out like this here. So this is going to be on OBS, and I'll show that in a minute. But the idea is that this is a page that's waiting for us to set something active here, and we can put it on the screen on OBS. And we have like our control center here where I can add an article in here. So like we have this one about Metroid Prime 4 here. And if I hit fetch, it's going to pull like the metadata off of it automatically, so that when I hit create topic, it's here. And then basically to get all the ads and the bullshit off the screen, there's just an AI that goes through and like converts the page into JSON. And I haven't done it to this one yet, but if you look at any of these articles, I can just grab the content out of it, so that then if I take one of these, we have this control room here, also shows the chat. Again, this is still kind of work in progress here, but I can take any of these and I can click on them, and then we would be looking at this side on our screen, and then we could say, okay, we're going to talk about this. If I set it as active, it's going to appear in our browser source here automatically, and that would be over on OBS, which is where I'll put it in a minute. And then we can like check them off and mark them as complete and stuff. So, but we can set like our chat commands up in here automatically, just real time, whatever we want to, turn them on and off. All sorts of cool stuff. So we're going to have merch that's for sale soon. That'll be on here. You know, we can have a blog, all the website things, you know, so it's going to be very cool.
Let's see. Tony has transcended Unreal. It's time for proprietary engine. Oh God, no.
I'm not going to say I'll never do that, but I'm going to try really hard not to ever do that.
When we get to a point where like most of what we do is management, I'm sure Tony will be like, I want to go make an engine now. And I'll be like, yeah, go for it.
You know how many times I've looked at the tutorial for like making the Vulcan rainbow triangle and been like, I could probably figure that out. It might be fun, but
yo. Let's see. And then Adder said, so LFQ said, I'm ready for Christmas to come out some time off. Adder said, big time same, gonna be in the Bahamas and Mexico for a couple of weeks. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Some nice chill time.
Where are you going in Mexico?
Yeah, an Omni, so okay. I like the spirit of your idea about like a place where there's like a 3D representation of everyone. Think about a larger stream where you have like 2 to tens of thousands of people and how immediately unglued that would come. And that's,
if you remember like the drum chuds thing I made where like there was like the fake crowd that was made out of like Niagara particles that like, you know, we kind of had the VIP thing set up for a while where like anybody who was in chat would appear there. Like that's probably as far as something like that would ever end up going. But
you have to be very controlling with it because, you know, you guys are great, but there are randos that will show up and be really fucking weird and ruin the fun for everyone. So you always have to consider that, man. I could just see that going poorly very quickly as it scales.
But I do like the ideas. Definitely keep them coming. We want to make this fun for you, and
yeah,
part of this whole system that we're starting to develop definitely is going to tie back into stuff more like the zombies and the coin pusher and things like that. That we're making the stream more interactive back in the day. So we're staying focused on Dread. This is some foundational stuff that will go into that, but we also like our website is really old and doesn't look very good, and I'm a professional web developer. It just kind of feels inappropriate at a point. So yeah, and I've also just for the entire time we've been doing this kind of just been pondering on like what the plan is and what the right way to put all of this together, and finally feel like I kind of got it figured out and I'm ready to do it.
Exactly, turning cog. But the on the other side, like, you guys are very cool. Like, yes, there are 20 of you guys that hold the vibe together and like the community and all that. But the vibe that you guys have is really positive and supportive, and that is rare, especially on this website. So I really appreciate that. That's great. And I know that, early on, most of you guys will recognize this, but early on, I was like, as it gets bigger, like, it's going to get crazy. We're going to start getting random people coming in saying weird shit. Yeah. And LFQ, I understand, like, you enjoy being a part of the community, but I trust you, man. When you want that sword, you got it, bro. You're one of the better Twitch
a lot of people in here, to be honest, because you guys are the real ones. But I'm going to work on Jarvis, and he'll just do it automatically for us. So.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need humans. We'll take their jobs too.
Try to be first at the buffet. Cruises can be a bacterial bomb. Yeah, dude. Wash your hands a lot and don't touch your face. I think that's probably the key. You might still get really sick. I've never been on a cruise, but I just know that people get really sick on cruises.
I've been on, I think, 2 cruises, and one of them I had like a really, really good time, and the second one I had a really, really bad time. So I'm kind of like right in the middle on a cruise right now. But we've talked about going on another one. I really want to do one like Alaska or like fjords of Norway or something like that, more so than like a tropical one, I think. But yeah.
I've been talking about with Sparkle maybe doing a European river cruise.
Yeah,
that could be kind of cool.
For sure, that'd be awesome.
Going to like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Her mom wants to do that kind of a trip, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds dope. Let's do it. So we're still trying to figure those details out. This is like a 3 to 5 year old plan. So
yeah.
But yeah, that sounds pretty fun. Don't hack any randos Gibsons. Don't hack anyone's shit, Omni.
It's just a Scandinavian Arctic Circle and then Antarctica between 2 cruises, and I had a blast. Wow, Antarctica was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's
Do you take off from like the tip of South America or something?
Tierra del Fuego, dude.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. That's the southern tip of South America.
The Tier of Fire or something?
Yeah, it's like the land of fire.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I'm right on this. Yeah, it's an archipelago in South America. Part of Chile and Argentina. Adder, so we flew, this is like in 2016, I think. We flew to London and went through Iceland, and I was like, oh my God, I love this place. So I really want to go back to Iceland. It seems fucking sick. Very quiet, very like pristine natural beauty. Very, very into that shit. Even without swords, there's a few dudes in here that just have mod vibes, so people follow that flow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do appreciate that. Tip of Chile. There's windows of each time of year that you can buy tickets on research ships. Kayaking with orcas and shit. Honestly, Adder, it sounds really cool, but it also sounds very dangerous. Because, like, that's a part of the world where you have no control, right? There's no, like, civilization and shit. I bet it could get hairy really fast. But it does sound really cool. I know my in-laws did I guess you could call it a cruise. It was like a small private boat, so it was just like them. And they were on a boat with a crew and all that. And they went to Alaska, and the crew like fished and like prepared meals, like very fresh meals. And that sounded cool as fuck to me. So that sounds fun. It is super dangerous. You sign your life away, there's a full medical screening, and they turn a bunch of people away. Yeah, I bet there's some like really out of shape, like rich bastards that want to go do that shit, and they're like, nah, dog, you're gonna die. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, it's dangerous. You're gonna die. Don't go out there. I have my fair share of cruises. Oh yeah, Tony was saying that. There's specific vibe. She needs a do no planning type chill vacation. Yeah. That sounds great. Yeah, the Turning Cog, this is one of those asset packs. This one had a lot of issues with it, but I like a lot of the aesthetics.
I don't know what the fuck is up with the materials now that I moved it to Dread, though, but like you can see through like the wrong sides of things, and stuff is like the shadows are transparent or something. I don't know. I gotta fix something, but you can see like these benches are only visible from certain angles and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think that's your fault. I think it's whoever made this asset pack like did some jank ass shit to make it work and didn't know like how to.
I think it's like some like nanite like distance field.
Yeah.
Like, what am I thinking of? Like normals and texture stuff. I don't know. I get like
normals.
The sides of the meshes on this fabric are like wrong or something. I don't know. Yeah, you can like see through certain angles. Very weird.
Ooh, that's a good point, Adder. They might have imported them into the engine inverted, then inverted them back in UE, and that didn't translate when you migrated. Yeah, that sounds like they probably were like, all right, I got all these pieces, and they put it all together, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they're like, all right, I'll just fix it in Unreal, and then they're like,
you can see how like fucked up it looks if I go unlit here too. Like all of the dark parts just get like completely transparent for some reason, and I don't know. You can like kind of see it when it's lit, but like it's different. I don't know. Very, very strange. But it's all these black spots you can tell are like the I don't know.
UE unlit mode is also kind of jank. Yeah, totally, dude.
No, for sure. But it's doing the same exact things. It's just a little more prominent this way, I guess.
Okay, so what Tony's working on after the forest is the lake. After the lake is the black stars, solar eclipse type shit, and then after that is the cathedral. So we're putting all these pieces together to make the end-to-end playthrough. So one of the things that I've realized when making games is that, and this is the tricky part. Adder can probably attest to this a bit, having worked in AAA. In AAA, you'll often do a vertical slice. And that turn of phrase has entered like the public discourse, and people say vertical slice all the time. Vertical slice as a practice is really bad because vertical slice shit is mostly not usable in a shipping environment. So a chunk of the team is going to be dedicated to making this thing that is only for a pitch deck and to get people bought in to give money and all that other stuff. We don't have that situation. So the better thing to do is, I can't remember what they call it, but you do the most basic white box build out of the whole thing end to end, because then you really understand what you're making and then you start building on it from there. So in like AAA, they'll do both. They'll have like a white box representation of the game end to end playthrough and a chunk of the team assigned to a vertical slice. The vertical slice ship mostly gets thrown out. So it's a waste of time. The better thing for us is to stand up everything, continue to build on it, start playing the game all the way through, feel what it feels like, and then we'll know where the shortcomings are and where the things that are really good are, and we can amplify those, and we can remove or embellish upon other parts that need a little more help. So that's why that's really important, because then we'll be able to play through it. We'll get pacing. We'll understand like the full scope of it, where some of these ideas may or may not be working and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot. It'll be a major milestone, is to stand up the whole playthrough, right? Horizontal slice.
The entire game, but shitty. The horizontal slice.
Yeah, there's what the fuck? There's like a turn of phrase for it. I can't remember, but and it's because vertical slice is just such a thing that everyone talks about in games, and it's not a good practice, honestly. Unless you're really skilled at like raising funds and doing partnerships and shit like that, and you need solid pitches, you need something for someone to play, then it's useful. But just remember that it's almost like a game jam. Like you're kind of trying to do some ideas, but you're not really proving them out. And the vertical slice just doesn't. It's not useful. It's really weird to think about, but it almost always gets entirely thrown away.
I was watching this Arc Raiders documentary about them making the game. I think it was made with NoClip, but it was on their channel, and it talks a lot about what Vince is talking about. They spent years on Arc Raiders just like in a gray box fighting robot AI until it was like so fun that they could make a game out of it.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
They really talk very in depth about the process and how they like structured it here, but it was like they had like this first iteration that looked like this stock Unreal meshes and like no textures and stuff like that, and then there's like a new iteration and it has like some landscape materials, but it still looks pretty rough, and they just didn't spend time on the things that didn't matter until it was really fun. And there's been a ton of news cycle about how Arc Raiders used to be a PvE game, and then they found that it wasn't fun, so they changed it to a PvE game.
Bro, this turtleneck guy needs to hit the gym.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, I know I'm a thin guy, but wow, that guy's got to go to the gym. Turning Cog's asking you to post that video to Discord, please.
No problem. There's some shots of like their Unreal screens and stuff in here that are pretty interesting. A lot of the early stuff is UE4, of course.
Okay, wait. Why don't we get lit wireframe, but still not unlit? Adder said he made one. You were saying sell on Fab. Yeah, Adder, you really should. You should just go.
I would literally have bought that if it was on Fab, because I want that all the time.
Transfer to part-time and management team wasn't stoked, so I may get shafted. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, that's still like, Adder, that always reminds me of when I started at Free Range. There was this dude that I worked with, and he made like an announcement to the whole team, and he's like, yeah, guys, I went viral on TikTok, so I'm gonna quit and be like a full-time content creator. And he turned out to be the Commander Carl guy who did like the video game style animations of reloading like a Dyson vacuum or like a toaster and shit like that. It was literally that guy. I worked with him. I was like, oh shit, you're Commander Carl. That's crazy, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't know what this is, but it's taken off and I can make money on it. So I'm going to go be my own boss and be a content creator. I was like, right on, man. Have fun. I thought it was very weird. I would not want to quit making games to go be a content creator. But it's entirely possible as like an animator and digital artist that he was just like, I fucking hate this, because especially in AAA, when you get to, larger size studios and stuff like that, it's a fucking meat grinder, man. I get it. If he's been doing it for 10 years, he's probably like, fuck this. I want to not, lose my core memories of my time with my grandparents just to ship a fucking COD game. Like, yeah, bet, dude. I get it. Go be a content creator, do your thing. But it also makes me wonder, like, how long does that last, right? Like, I haven't heard anything from Commander Carl in a while, right? But I also don't follow him. I just know he had this, like, viral moment. Like, I was seeing his clips on Twitter and all kinds of shit.
Just kind of makes you go, though, like,
yeah.
So your job is that you make funny videos of you reloading vacuums? Like, you're going to make your living on that? Like, how long is that going to last?
Exactly. Yeah, that was my first thought.
I understand if, you don't hate your job and you just want an out and you can just go do that for a while. But I think you see a lot of content creators and quote unquote influencers who are like, I bought a $100,000 warehouse and employed 25 people and started producing products and we have a subscription service. And it's like, you're not going to make it, man. Go chill. Even MKBHD shut down his stupid wallpaper app thing. I don't know if you saw that headline.
I don't know who that is, but I'm
Marcus Brownlee, the like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had that whole like wallpaper app that like everybody got really mad about.
Yeah,
and they announced 2 days ago, maybe now that it's getting shut down. And
damn, dude.
Yep.
I mean, but
I think it's just like probably not a sustainable business model because of course it's not. It's a phone wallpaper store, but
yeah, but Marcus Brownlee's like, I feel like he's probably well off enough, like if he's
he's gonna keep doing everything else.
Crazy
they're not gonna do that app anymore, and
yeah,
I don't know.
But he can afford to take those risks. I guess
true.
is what I'm trying to say. if you're, you know, a smaller content creator and you get, you know, your community's like a couple thousand or a couple hundred people, don't do that. You're scaling way too fast. Focus on the shit that matters. Get a product that people want. Establish a base. You know, that's what we're doing, and it's working for us. Like we're not stretched thin at all, except for like we don't have art people. But that, you know, that doesn't mean we're stretched thin. We're not going to like go out of business because we don't have art people. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And it's, you know, we've been getting there. Like we're using this asset flip stuff for Dread. It's a very good exercise for us as a team too. Brightside said, oh yeah, you just responded to it. Guys, while you were gone, I discovered that Turning Cog has more Unreal projects than Boom. Turning Cog, we're looking at you now, everyone intently. Literally hundreds.
Well, I mean, I would say Boom probably has literally hundreds too, but
talk to us, Turning Cog. Are you okay?
Brightside, I looked at your stream for maybe 3 minutes last night, and it looked like you were using source control. Or am I crazy?
I feel like Brightside has mostly used source control.
I didn't think you did. Okay.
I'd like to think it
putting him in the bucket with all the filthy people like Boom who just have 100 projects on their computer with no backups. No.
I feel like it was us. I'll take credit for encouraging Brightside to use source control. Literally hundreds. I counted it was 200. Turning Cog, like
let's see how many I got here.
Wow, I'm a GitHub guy, dude. I was just playing with you.
Okay. Dude, source control is better than North.
Yes.
No source control, so props.
Yeah, no, it's really good, bro.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you've shipped 2 games, Brightside, and that's why I commend you a lot for it.
Yeah, I got 62 in my backup drive, and the main drive has 22, and then there's probably a few that are also on this drive. But yeah, so I'm nearing 100. But what do we got? 3 in source control. Those are the ones that actually matter.
Adder's a Google Drive guy.
Adder, you probably have the most sophisticated source control system of anybody here times 10. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, so funny. No, I was just playing with you, Turning Cog. You know a lot of shit, man. I feel like please correct me if I'm getting the wrong read here, but I feel like you are highly skilled, but you need like some focus. You know, you got to be like pushed in the right direction. And then you make something, and then you'll be like, fuck, I did a thing, and it's out there, and people can buy it and like consume it and enjoy it. So I want to help you get there. I just don't know how, and I don't know what you need. So yeah, I think you could do it. I know you're doing your car thing, which is cool. But yeah, look at, we talked about Dread with Scope since the beginning of the project. This is why deadlines get blown. This is why like shit gets crazy. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just want to help you. If that's not what you want to do, totally cool. Keep doing what you're doing.
I got really excited when I saw the little checkbox in his little, file browser thing. So, that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. Like, you can, hold yourself to a higher standard than everybody else here, I guess. So congratulations.
Yeah. I just don't want, Turning Cog, I don't want you to become like a serial project starter, right? Not if that's what you want to do, totally okay. But I feel like there's like some Turning Cog magic that needs to be shared with people, and I want to help you get there in any way that I can.
That, like, I'm making my dream game for my first project type thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
we've all been there for sure. Because I have heard what you're doing, and I do think you're capable of it for sure. And it's very ambitious, and it's very cool. And to your point, you have gained a ton of knowledge around assets and all of these resources that you're going to use to do it, which is exactly what you need to do. So yeah, we're not giving you a hard time about it by any means. I think it's really good stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to say the things that I was saying without like taking it personally or being like, oh, he's being a dick like that. I promise I'm not trying to do that. I believe in you. I believe in all of you guys. And that's one of the core reasons why we're doing this, is we want to help people get to, realizing their dreams, putting a thing out there, sharing it with other people, and being like, what do you think? Which is cool. That's why I, gas Brightside up so much, is because like Bro's a musician. Bro's a producer. He's also made 2 fucking games. You know, like that's crazy. There's so many people that I've met who are like, I'm an indie dev, never shipped a thing, never worked in AAA. They just kind of dabble in an engine and, you know, maybe participate in some community game jams, interact with a bunch of strangers and whatnot. But no one's ever really shipping anything of meaning and like making a thing with a cohesive vision. I was talking to a buddy the other night who's sort of in between contract gigs as a software engineer in games. And he was saying that he joined like a hobbyist group. And in the first meeting, one of the guys was like, here's how the games industry works. This is the way it is. You guys got to do all this stuff. And he's like, this dude's never made a game, not even an indie game, never shipped a game. And all he's doing is like being very firm with everyone. And then he just told us like in a bragging way that he just got hired at TikTok. So he knows what he's talking about. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. My project folder stays greater than 10. Is that less than? Yeah, there you go. All right, less than 10. Musician, game dev, not a math guy. Yes, bro, I'm not a math guy. I don't know how fucking numbers work, man. I'm not into game jam and fast food dev. I want to ship some shit I can be proud of. Exactly, Turning Cog. That's why I was saying I want to help you. Because I feel like you like just in talking to you, you know, over the internet for these last couple of years, like that's the vibe I got. You have a lot of passion and big ideas in you that you want to get out there. But yeah, it's very hard to do. Really, really hard to do. So yeah, when the AAA Unreal project with 20 plus content devs doesn't have OFPA enabled Lamau cry. Yeah,
I'm working on blowing all of our teammates' lives up by like upgrading to 5.7 and introducing C++ at the same time. And I'm kind of thinking about turning on OFPA at the same time too, just to like make all the pain happen at once and then get it over with. But I'm not positive yet. We'll see.
Do it. Don't encourage the matter.
After you were giving me a hard time about it that one day, like it had never even really come up, but then like we had a situation that happened very quickly after that just made me go like, oh, if we had OFPA right now, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So
yeah, and for what it's worth, like I complain and I have, you know, my own misgivings, but that is Tony's area. I respect that. If Tony wants to do it, Tony can do it.
Turning Cog, you've probably worked in World Partition enough that you've probably done a lot of OFPA without even realizing it, but it's like, you know, when you work in a World Partition level and you have to like save a thing that represents like the actor in the level, that's one file per actor. That thing that you're saving that represents the actor in the level is the file for the actor. And so for every actor in your level, there is a file that keeps track of it that you can put in source control. And then it kind of starts to mean that like if somebody else on your team edits that one object in the level, they don't have to check the whole level out. They just have to check that one file that tracks it out. And it just makes working as a team and not conflicting with each other and stuff way better. I know you don't do a lot of source control, so this probably isn't something that you've run into a ton, but I think it does just kind of also reduce some of the engine overhead and things that will happen if you are having like a really, really big level that doesn't have OFPA on and it has to resave every single thing every single time you change something.
Yo, Anime, thank you for the resub, brother. Welcome.
Adder says, it's an easy change to make when setting up a project, and I can't see working on a team project without it. Yeah, and this is, again, this is the first one where it's like really, I don't know. Well, in Hyperskate, Vince and I have a lot of reasons why OFPA is something that we've been working towards for a long time. So like our 40 by 40 kilometer world is exactly what I just said. If we change one little thing in one corner on one material or whatever, you gotta check that whole level out. Nobody else can work on it. It was static lighting for a while, so you're gonna have to rebuild this lighting that would take forever. You know, it's just the clunkiest shit possible. And moving to world partition, getting away from static lighting and stuff, eliminated all of that and really smoothed it out. And I would say one of the biggest downsides, in my opinion, is that it will make 2 million files in your project, and there's nothing that you can do about that. You just have to kind of be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like, I worry, obviously. I worry that, like, oh, these changes will, you know, eat a bunch of time and whatever, but it'll be okay. Like, I just want to make sure that we're keeping to the agreement with you guys that we're going to ship this game soon. You know, I know Simple Sins is concerned because like we initially said it was going to be a month. Now we're looking at like maybe 4 to ship the game. And I can get that. It's a little stressful, especially because he's like, you know, he's a unpaid contributor just like everyone else on our team. But like, yeah, you know, we gotta find the right balance. We gotta make the game good. We need to use the right technology for everything. Making games is very hard.
I feel like all of us are going to be way better at making games after this. Like I know we already are, but like
yeah, 100%.
Wrapping it all up and learning all the things that we've been learning, it's been really good.
There's this thing that people who've shipped games and worked, you know, professionally as game devs, you know, made a living off of it, talk about where it's like it can be really frustrating when you're trying to break in, but people are like, dude, just go make games. The reason is because there's 10,000 little things that you never ever learn unless you fucking ship, unless you make a thing and put it out there, because you're gonna run into stuff like Brightside. I'm sure you know, having done your second round and shipped another game, I'm sure you ran into problems that you were like, what the fuck? These weren't problems in Silent Sonata, but now they're problems in Slice and Dice. Like, fuck, dude. And you're only gonna get better at it the more games you ship and the more you work on them. I know you're pretty locked in on Slice and Dice. I am looking forward to the time where you set it down and work on the next Brightside game, Silent Sonata 2. I know you got some ideas for that. I know you've really wanted to be like diving in there, and I think that would be really cool. I'm excited for when you get to that point. So just be ready to let Slice and Dice go a little bit and just let it sit out there and start your new thing, because we all know that's one of the most fun parts of a project is starting it, because you're like, oh, I got all these ideas. I got all these crazy things that I want to do. I mean, the initial scope for Dread, I've told you guys on stream more than once, it is not what we're building anymore. Some of the moments have dramatically changed. That's okay. I knew that going into it. That's why I'm not like, no, we got to make it like this. Like, the good ideas survive because they're good. So like, you know, some of the ideas that I put out there weren't good enough to survive, and that's okay. That's a part of it. That's the whole fucking thing. That's the deal. I'll never let her go. Yeah, no, Brightside. I'm trying to say it in a positive way, you know, like I've been there, bro. I've been there. Dread admittedly is a little bit in that space of like, oh, but we could do this now, and I got to be like, all right, hold on, let's slow it down. Let's aim at these targets. Let's finish this fucking thing. You know, I think that's one of the other reasons why standing up the end-to-end playthrough is really important, because then the noodling can really happen, because then you can look at the whole fucking thing and be like, I see all of this. You don't have to squint nearly as hard, and then you can really start to develop the parts that need it, that are really, really good, and get only better with time. I've told you guys on stream, working on 0 Hour, and I know a lot of you guys are not Destiny heads, which is totally okay. There was this moment with the giant robot called Trevor that moved around in a maze. It was like a death Roomba. So you're basically in a maze with a Minotaur, you know, an abstraction. You're in the maze. There's a big thing that you can see with this giant glowing red eye. You can see it over the tops of the walls and shit. You know when it's coming. That almost got cut so many times. So many times. It was really, really bad, meaning like it wasn't working, and it was a frustrating moment of gameplay, or it was non-existent, and players didn't even realize they were in a maze. It would constantly oscillate between those two things. We were in like the 4th month where everything else was stood up and was doing really well and was working, and I was like, we gotta fucking cut this. And I was telling, you know, the guys working on the team, I was like, dude, it's not coming together. Like, it's a big risk, and to finish, we're gonna have to cut this because we won't have enough time to finish in the time frame we've got. And they were like, all right, I'm gonna come in on this weekend and fucking hammer these problems out and fix it. Sure enough, next playtest we had, it was fucking incredible. And it went from like broken and frustrating to a moment no one noticed to suddenly it was one of the most important parts of the mission. So like, that's how you got to do it sometimes, right? Like it was so fucking close to just being dead and not ever shipping and being a thing that people remember. But inside the studio, after we shipped 0 Hour, I mean, we had like a huge company meeting, and there was like a highlight reel, montages from all these streamers experiencing 0 Hour and going through these moments with Trevor. It was a really strange moment for me because I'm in a room with hundreds of people, and I'm watching, you know, the community manager who's like never talked to me about it really, highlighting all these things. And that's when like people were like, who are you? Where did you come from? You made all these things. And I'm like, yep. Okay. But yeah, it was weird. And so the lesson that I'm trying to say is that when you stand the whole thing up, you can see how everything fits together. And that's why I was like, I don't think Trevor's going to make it. I don't think the maze is going to work. Like, there's too many problems. We just had to keep iterating on that. And the whole team was really focused on this one moment that's like, what, a minute and a half of gameplay out of a 20-minute mission. So it was like, we're putting so much effort into this for like almost no gain. But like I said, when it all clicked and it came together and it was all working perfectly and the vision was there and it was all like solid, it was very clear to us we could not cut it. It had to be there. And so then we just made it better and better. Now I feel you. I felt like a lot of life stuff has happened during this game. Every time I get to take a week off, I can come back and do some new stuff with new perspective. Second wins have been priceless. Hell yeah, Brightside. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you've had a lot of life going on, man. You got fucking married. You know, you're playing some big gigs. And I'm sure, like, I want to know, like, what's the temperature of your mood on, like, music production versus game dev? Like, what do you love more? Are you feeling a pull in one direction or the other? Like, you know, are they both, like, equally standing there? Or are you, like, fighting with yourself to, you know, with motivation to be like, oh, I want to fucking make music today. Or, oh, I really want to make game today. Because, like, you're a super creative dude. Yeah. Hi, I'm Vince. I just get shit done. That's how I imagine that interaction going for you. No, dude. I was very, very humble. It was interesting. I was just like, oh, no, it was a team effort and all this other shit. And, like, I think I've told you guys, I was having a conversation with world art lead for raids. And I was like, yeah, it was a team effort. And he goes, that's bullshit. How did you do this? What did you think of? He like legitimately wanted to know the creative process. And I was like, oh, no, man. They're like, it's a team effort. I worked with blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I've worked with that dude for 10 years and he doesn't know shit. So I know this was all you. He's like, I've seen him make stuff for so long and he's never made anything like this. And I was like, okay, well, I thought about this. This was my direction. I could see him like taking notes. That dude is now a creative director. So that was cool. That was a cool moment. But yeah, I mean, admittedly, I don't just get shit done, and I'm not, I have a very strong personality and I can be difficult to work with and very frustrating. I understand that, but that's the way it goes. You know, I'm the guy that people get mad at. It's okay. That's my role. That's my job. People can get mad at me. I don't have to take it personally. Yeah, it's complicated. So what you're saying is I made your team do shit you couldn't. Yeah, pretty much. Our manager during crunch. Why do you guys always play rock, paper, scissors after afternoon meetings? Yo. Oh, that's fucking funny, Adder. Yeah, what happened, Tony?
I don't like. I just opened the project up. This is not even like pulled down from Perforce. It was a copy of my project that I just upgraded and reopened. And then I don't know why it looks like this. I can't figure it out.
Holy shit, Adder, I just read that. We had a 16 million try wooden cart in our game for a long while and no one noticed till we ran a memory report.
Changed in 5.7. Okay, well, as long as there's like an explainable reason for it, I guess, then that's fine. I can redo my exposure, as annoying as that is, but...
Yeah, dark mode, dude.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
He hit the dark mode checkbox.
So like the exposure, I just need to like turn it up in the post process. Is there like somewhere specific that I need to look, or is it just like across the board? I guess let me look at some of my other levels and see how they look. I like this one.
By the way, guys, I don't normally wear my hat this way. I'm doing it for fun because it looks ridiculous.
Hard to say depending on what is enabled in the project. Okay. And like this one, I would say it looks pretty, like fairly normal. Oh, I might not even be in there. No, I'm in the right project. So let's see.
Oh, Turning Cog, I kind of understand what you were saying now about I made your team do shit you couldn't. That was what, no, so the dude who talked to me was on a completely different team. I didn't work with him at all. He's one of the people who made me interested in Kojima, because he and I like talked a little bit more about game design and some other stuff, you know, since those conversations. And he was like, if you really want to learn more, like check this person out, read these books, look at these things. And I was like, all right, bet. And he was not wrong. The dude, he's one of the few people in AAA who genuinely give a fuck about making real shit that people actually care about. So it's good that he's in a creative director position. I hope he's doing well. I should go see what he's up to real quick. I'm not trying to dox the guy. I want to see if he's still at Bungie. Yeah, it says he's a creative lead on his Twitter, which is cool. He was the campaign senior design lead on Final Shape. World lead on raids, on 9 raids and 3 dungeons. Okay, so he got into dungeons. That's cool. I like to think I inspired him to get into dungeons with my exotic missions.
Okay, maybe it's this game settings. Let's see if I change that. Because this one looked okay. It's just this one.
Oh, Brightside writing some paragraphs. I want to read these. I feel like every industry is fucked up right now, but I'm a little scorned on music. Put everything into it for a long time. Into my own fault, I've kind of not wanted to play the upward mobility ladder. Nah, dude, I understand. I can very much relate to that. I don't like kissing ass to some of those people that ended up pulling the strings, so I just wanted to continue to bring people together through common experiences, and maybe playing shows isn't the only way to do that. I can use games to continue telling stories and go deeper into the creative realm. Fuck yes, dude. I think your head's in the right space. Respect. You can still continue that music journey at your own pace with games. Absolutely, Adder. I'm sure there's a parallel with games, but if you look at the stats on who's getting bookings, it's literally the same 3 agencies that just feed the system with all their bloat. Wasserman, CAA, these are agencies that have literally ripped the lifeblood out of the EDM scene. Yep. It used to be a place where weird people fit in. Now it's just a bro fest and everyone and their mother is a DJ. Yeah, dude. Yes. So that's why these industries that you're so passionate about, Brightside, and like the stories you're trying to tell and the experiences you're giving to people. So this is weird. I remember talking with one of my mentors, the guy who helped me get hired at Bungie. He was a creative director, all kinds of other stuff. He's the guy that brought me into free range. He was telling me, he's like, one of the most important things that I focus on in my own work, no matter what role I have in a company, is what's my impact on this industry. And I was like, is he like being full of himself? But I just kept thinking about it. And I was leading with curiosity. Like, why would he say something like this? And I realized when you couch everything you do, especially as a creative, in how am I going to impact the industry and how am I going to impact humanity and with my stories and stuff like that, it adds so much more gravity and weight to anything you're producing, anything you're creating. And you should just, like try to keep that in mind. So instead of being like, I mean, that's kind of how we got to Fractal Grove, right? Like, instead of being like, oh man, it's so disappointing, why doesn't anyone change this? We should change it. Be the guy, what's the Gandhi thing? Be the change you want to see in the world, right? I think the Brightside movement can be what EDM used to be, right? Like, you've got a very distinct style in the music you produce. And I think that you've already done it. You're fostering your community on Twitch and whatnot. But I think there's a moment where if you keep going and doing the things you're doing and being creative and producing works and putting them out there for public consumption, you'll be able to be one of those, drivers of change and build a new thing. have a new space. That's what I'm trying to say to you, Turning Cog. I think you can do that too. You just need help coming across the finish line, right? Like you gotta get some focus and some planning and be like, I'm gonna commit to this thing and finish it, even though it will never be perfect. That's one of the things that I've got to tell you guys is like, I have really strong opinions on how I want to make things and what I think should be the vision and the experience and all of that. It's really important, but there's also, I think I've told you guys before, there's this concept that Jason Jones had a Bungie of strong ideas held loosely, and that's the point. Not every idea will fit, but if you're willing to listen and I mean, fuck, what's Rick Rubin's book?
I can't remember what it's called.
The Creative Act. That's it. So Rick Rubin talks about that a lot. I've discussed Rick Rubin. Tony has, I guess what would be like flattered or whatever. You've compared me to Rick Rubin in some ways, which I
heard the dude being like, I don't know how to play an instrument, I don't know how to read music, I don't have any formal education, but I've made the most prolific bangers of all time. And it was years ago, and I was just like, Vince, you need to like look into this guy. I feel like you got very similar vibes. So
yeah, so Rick Rubin, for you guys that don't know, is credited as a producer for all of the most prolific music, and I'm not talking like top 40 pop hits and shit like that.
But
he was like part of Def Jam Records and shit like that.
He looks like this.
What's that?
He looks like this.
Oh, you're showing a picture.
Just so people have a image in their mind.
He's a crazy looking dude. Yep. So the weird thing about Rick Rubin is he was the guy that everyone, like very talented musicians, would come to and be like, what does my song need? What does my album need? And he would be like, these are the vibes you need. Here's why it's not working. As weird as that is, he was like, I don't fucking know why people listen to me. He's like, I'm just a channel for like, I'm a conduit of whatever, right? Like creative direction. And he's responsible for so much shit that everybody has heard.
Let me just read some of these. So 1981 is when he started. He's doing LL Cool J in 1984. He's doing Beastie Boys all through the 80s. He does Slayer, Rain and Blood. He does Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill. This is all before 1990. Then you go into the 90s. He's doing Red Hot Chili Peppers, Slayer, Sir Mix-a-Lot, like Mick Jagger, Tom Petty, more Chili Peppers, Nine Inch Nails, AC/DC, all the way through. Now we're in the 2000s. System of a Down, a lot of System of a Down, Mars Volta, Limp Bizkit, Jay-Z, like Slipknot, Lil Jon, Audio Slave, Shakira. It just keeps going. Now we're in the 2010s. We're at Linkin Park, Metallica, we're more Chili Peppers, Kanye. Like, this dude is so prolific. He's still going.
The crazy thing about it too is all the musicians understand that he is something special. All these big people are like, you have to go talk to Ricky. Like, you must talk to him.
And you just do what he says.
No question. Do what he says. He will make you bangers. Yep. And he's like, I don't do anything. I can't play instruments. I don't understand music production. I just kind of guide them, and they do the thing that they do really well. And I just kind of go like, do it this way. And yeah,
there's a 60 Minutes Rick Rubin interview if this interests you guys at all, and you don't want to read a whole book or something, but they interview him sitting in his house, and that's where like this famous quote of, I don't know how to do anything, I don't even really know how all of this happened came from, but he just talks a lot about his process and how he just like believes in his gut and knows to listen to it, and it's really cool.
Yep. I think that's the thing. I've told you guys many times. Everyone wants to be the idea guy. Everyone thinks that's the most fun. Rick Rubin doesn't even call himself an idea guy. He's like, these aren't my ideas. These come to me from the cosmos, right? Like he's kind of weird in that way, but he doesn't even take credit for any of his ideas. He's like, I don't come up with this shit. He's like, I just feel the vibes. He's like, I'm open to anything that could be there. I listen to someone's art with genuine curiosity, try to understand the artist's vibe and like what they're trying to make. And then I just gently push them in the right direction to make something that's truly incredible. And I'm like, that's a wild thing to say. And I don't know why so many people trust him and believe in him, but he's done it over and over and over again for decades. And the crazy thing is, like, dude is incredibly wealthy and he has not done anything. Like, all he does is advise people. That's it. So anyway, point I'm trying to make is to be the idea guy, you have to be in a very specific mental place and you have to let ego go. And I think that's a part of what he does is he's just like, this isn't me. I'm not impressing myself upon this other person's work. I'm helping them be create the best version of their own art. Like it's like he's truly seeing who they are and says, this is you, not what you think you are, but this is you. And this is what your value is. And this is how you do it. Right. Like, and that it works apparently. So it's definitely an interesting read because you're like, this is all fucking hand wavy bullshit. I don't get it. Be open to the ideas. And that's all he's talking about. He's like, you have to not, push back on that shit. You got to like really truly understand and like look at things from a, different perspective, abstract everything. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, System of a Down is one of my favorite bands for sure. Turning cog, be the change you want to find in the cushions. The good enough move on has always been a struggle. Yeah, okay, so that was the thing I wanted to touch on, turning cog. The way I do it is when I get stuck and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, work on something else. Because when you start to work on something else, like Brightside was saying, having these different moments happen where you could like step back and get some perspective and then get a second wind. When you step away from the thing you've been too focused on, you forget some of the ideas you had that were bad, that were holding you back because you're now working on something else. And then you come back and look at it and you're like, this is good enough. Or maybe it's overdeveloped, or maybe it's a little underdeveloped, but in working on this other thing, I realized this one piece that this might need. So moving around and getting the whole thing stood up is more important. The biggest problem I've seen with people who make games and game devs, I guess just creatives in general, is you go, I really, really love this idea. I want to keep embellishing this idea. You need to get it to a point where you're like, I can kind of see what I'm going for. Other people can see it. Set it down. Work on something else. It might feel like it's too early and there's more work that you can put into it and make it better. Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. But you got to set it down so that you can come back with a fresh perspective and really see what it is that you made. Because you'll have ideas about what you made and you'll have this like really clear image in your head of like how to make them happen and like how to do the thing that you're trying to do. But you have to walk away. You got to step away from it for a little bit, do something else, and then you come back and then see it again with fresh eyes, and then you're going to be in a better position. You can literally noodle forever turning cog. Like forever, unending, until you die and nothing has ever been put out there. So yeah, that's the problem. So you've got to... This is why I say like Jesse Shell's game design, art of game design book of lenses is important. I think the concept is easily understood.
Donated
really
$100 and said we're in December at the end of the year. Holidays are coming, spreading Christmas cheer. Dread is coming along at a steady pace. We look on seeing joy on your face when we move on getting back to Hyper Skate. Excited for the release on the fated date.
But the core concept is really good. What the lenses are tools for how to change your perspective of how you're looking at something, especially as a creator. When you get really deep on your thing, you think it's one thing, but it might actually be something else entirely. So what he's describing is arbitrary example, but as a creator, you look at something from the creator's perspective. As a consumer, you will look at it from a completely different perspective. So the good thing in game design, or a core principle of game design, is being able to change your perspective and really try to consume something that you've made as if you didn't make it and you're a person playing it for the first time. And when you do that, you need to think about, what kind of a player am I? Am I a horror game enthusiast? If I am, how does Dread stand up or fall down? If I'm not a horror game enthusiast, what is making me interested in this? Like these are different lenses that you want to view your project through. So switching those lenses around as you're doing the whole thing is really important. But that's also why standing up the whole thing is really important, because then you can see the whole piece, the whole creation, and then look at it through all these different lenses and like, you know, move around through all the parts. I know that I'm being hand wavy too, and it's weird, but it's hard, and it's a long conversation to get to that point. But yeah, again, that's why I agree with Richard Garriott talking about game designers being bad, and it's not their fault, it's the industry's fault, because of the way the industry promotes people into game design positions is pretty fucking crazy. It's not the right thing. The best analog I can give is if you work in a traditional business, you know, like say you work at an insurance company and you're a claims adjuster. You've been doing it for 10 years. You'll eventually be moved into a management position. You're really good at being a claims adjuster. You're not really good at being a manager. So you're learning a brand new skill set. But the idea is, no, they're going to be great because they already know this part of the business. No, dude, it doesn't fucking work that way. And game design is the same, especially at a high level, meaning AAA, huge budgets, massive teams. People will get promoted into game design positions, but know nothing about game design. And they don't understand why people play things or the experiences that they're trying to create to have a player feel a certain way about a thing. They lack all of that, which is like the core piece of what makes a game designer good at game design. So, you know, it's not their fault. It really isn't. And like I've told you guys before, Gary caught a lot of heat for saying that. People are like, oh, this fucking Ultima Online guy is such a piece of shit. He's saying we all suck and we're bad and he's better than us. That's literally not what he's saying. It's not. He was trying to have a candid conversation, talk about problems in the industry, how we improve as an industry and become more healthy. He had that concept in mind of what's my impact on this industry. You know, what can I do? How can I make this better? How can I improve everyone's station, right? Like, wait, LFQ hype? Yeah, why do we have LFQ hype? I wanted 2 more lines, but I hit the limit. What did I miss? Did chat eat you? Oh, the coffee! Holy shit, it did get eaten. I had to go to another window. Thank you, LFQ.
What happened?
He dropped a Hondi on coffee.
Thank you, brother. I didn't see that. Yeah, thank you so much. I didn't see it either. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
We're in December at the end of the year. I don't even see his poem.
Yeah, read the poem. Where's the poem?
Text-to-speech poem. Chat heard it. I didn't even fucking hear it. Tony, where's our TTS?
Text-to-speech? What? I forgot there is TTS on coffee, I guess. I don't think anybody's ever done it.
Careful reminder, guys. We are not professional streamers.
My whole system I was showing you is, you know, an effort to improve that, but it's not quite there yet.
All
Thank
right,
you again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to coffee and see if I can like replay it or something.
I'm so sorry, LFQ. Chat didn't meet me. You were yapping for 20 minutes. Yeah, no, this is real, bro. I'm sorry. Here, let me see.
Discord?
Yeah, I'm gonna check the Gmail and see if I can find it.
We do have like notifications that we get in Discord, but they don't go off while we're streaming, and coffee apparently does not go there. So, yep.
See what's new. Oh boy. Hold on, that's not what I want. Go see here. Will that log me in? Okay, we're in December at the end of the year. Holidays are coming, spreading Christmas cheer. Dread is coming along at a steady pace. We look on, seeing joy on your face. When we move on, getting back to Hyperskate, excited for the release on the fated date. That was wonderful, LFQ. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I smashed your moment, but I'm trying to give it back here. So yeah, thank you. That was very, very kind of you. Turning cog, for fuck's sake. Yeah, bro, I'm sorry.
I'm like literally working to try to get all that better right now, so it'll be soon.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. This was very kind of you.
Yeah, super nice.
And you know, LFQ, I'm worried about you based on your stats, your Twitch stats you posted in the fucking Discord, bro. Man's got 634 subs gifted, literally holding up Twitch.
Homie's propping up the economy.
Yeah. This guy just holding up the whole fucking website. Thank you, LFQ. I wanted to rhyme Fractal Grove as well, but I hit the message limit. Well, that's okay. It was a lovely poem.
I'll make sure when I build our TTS system that My goal is to put like a queue thing in place. I don't know if anybody will even use this, but just this is what the bigger streamers do, where we can tell it when to play so that we can actually pay attention to it and it'll wait. So
I'm glad you guys still like me. Or at least, consider me a friend of me or something like that. I don't know. I'm glad you guys are here, even though I'm just yapping and squashing someone's kindness. Didn't mean to. But no, you guys are great. Yeah, I hope if you guys celebrated Thanksgiving that you had a very good time and you got to spend time with people you care about. Yeah, like I was saying, that's the most important shit in life is the experiences you have and the people you share those experiences with. So don't forget that. It can be really easy for us as, human beings. We love making things. We love having purpose in life. But just remember that the actual purpose is like the people and the experiences. That's really what it's all about. I think that's what I like about games. I like to give, games and stories. I like to give people experiences that impact their lives, make them think about stuff in a different way. And like, I don't know, human condition's a tough one. To be fair, you were showing the rest of us kindness with truth and an honest talk. Thank you, Turning Cog. Yeah, it's I don't know. I try to do the honest talk. Oh, Tony from Nubbies is up there, bro. I saw Tony.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we need to get you guys a sub badge too. This purple star ain't cutting the fucking mustard. Sorry guys, we want to make Dread, so we're focused on that. Yo, this glass thing is sick.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this up in the back for when we're loading, but made this in Blender. You can get this Blender file on Twitter for free. I have no hand in making this cool, but okay, I tried to turn DLSS off, and I'm gonna see if that changes what my like ambient lighting looks like here. This is on a copy of the 5.6 project, so I'm hoping it looks like the 5.7 project, and then I'll know that DLSS is the reason. It's probably not gonna be the reason, though.
Oh, Turning Cog, we can definitely make the badges. It's just we haven't put the time in to make them.
Yeah,
that's it. It's probably like 3 hours at most.
Probably not even. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
We got Nano Banana these days, guys.
Fucking Nano Banana.
Nano Banana's so cool.
The AI bubble's gonna burst, man. Shit's over. DLSS holding up the industry right now.
Well, it looks the same as it did before, so it wasn't DLSS, but it was worth a shot. I do notice when I play my 5.7 project just to test it, though, like my frame rate's pretty good in our normal project, but it is probably because of DLSS, because when I don't have it in the 5.7 version, the frame rate's not quite as good. So it is making a difference.
Yeah, Turning Cog, don't be shy. Hit me up, dude. DM me. We can talk about stuff. I understand that it's probably weird. You're like, I don't know this guy. He's just on the internet. But like, I've talked to Brightside.
Yeah, I will say I get the sense that Turning Cog wants to be better friends with us, so I don't think he's going to be against that at all.
Yeah, hit me up, bro. As you guys can see from my Twitch stats, I don't watch Twitch. Brightside's show, I legitimately have only really watched Brightside because the fucking bits that he has, the scene transitions, this shit is so entertaining. And he's just a wacky guy. He's just like a very real person. I fucking love that. So, that's the thing that's convinced me. I watched
it's the only streamer I legitimately watched last year was Brightside. So.
Yeah. Well, I watched anime too, but he's so inconsistent.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the only person who streams, every week and, does it very seriously. Brightside's the only one I watch consistently. And Boom. Definitely Boom, too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Turning Cog, not shy. I just don't like to push other people's comfort zones. You're not, dude. I wouldn't say hit me up if I didn't mean it. I genuinely mean it. Like Queen Anne and I talked probably
you ever heard Vince say
2
something
hours.
He doesn't mean before?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd be saying a lot of shit that I probably shouldn't be saying that I do mean, and that get me in trouble. Dude, anytime. Like, yeah, Turning Cog, anytime. Just hit me up. We'll find some space and we can talk and whatever. And I'm happy to help you with whatever you need, man. Middle of the night. Please not middle of the night. That's all I ask. I'm old. I get sleepy.
He either gets sleepy or stays up until 4 a.m. There's no in between.
Yep.
Yep.
I think, as I've told you guys before, mental health is a hard one. I oscillate between not being able to sleep whatsoever or sleeping 16 hours a day. I did talk to Tony a bunch in the middle of the night, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, Tony's always here too. So like, Tony's great to talk to.
I do sleep a little more like a normal person, but
yeah,
sometimes not.
But yeah, Tony's got a wide breadth of like deep technical knowledge. I don't have that. I'm the vibes idea guy, and I can help steer creativity and stuff like that. That's what I'm really good at. So yeah, when I was talking to Queen Anne about the stuff that she's making, I thought it was really cool. I hope she appreciated it. But like, I offer help to people all the time. Nobody hits me up, like, at all, and that's okay. That's normal. I remember there was a time I was at PAX Dev, working at Bungie, met a bunch of like brand new game devs who hadn't got jobs yet. We were doing like a mixer after the conference and whatnot, and I was just chatting with people, and I was like, well, I'm a professional game designer. Let's talk. Like, I know you want to get into this. What do you want to do? And they fucking stared at me like I was an alien, and they were just standing there awkwardly. And I'm like, I'm literally right here. Ask me stuff. And they're like, how do we get in? And I'm like, make games. And I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, it's really tough as a game designer to get in. It's not really like a junior position. And, I've like gotten into conversations, but then they just go like, oh. But when I've been in that position, I have 1,000 questions. And, I got to where I got because of people saying, I want to help and talk to me. And I did. And then I did things that they told me to do. You learn over time. Maybe some of those suggestions aren't for you, but try them. You'll be able to change your mind and act differently in the next situation. Turning Cog would like some dog updates, Tony.
He's doing pretty good. He's kind of back to normal now at this point. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He had to get his eye removed because he has really bad glaucoma, and the pressure was so high that they said he probably had like a pretty severe migraine 24/7, and he was not really acting like himself anymore, and he was like really low energy and just gonna lay around all the time, and he's not doing that anymore. So, has made us feel like we made the right decision, and he feels better now, so it's been good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I know this is like looping back to something we were talking about, but I wanted to show you this nano banana shit I did because it's pretty cool. Like, I was working on our website thing. I built it with like very generic off-the-shelf components initially, so it looked very boring like this, and I was looking at like some inspiration, and I found there's like this liquid glass style that Apple's been doing, but I found this Alienware variant of it, and so I gave these two to Nano Banana and said I want this to look kind of more like this style, and then it'll just crap out something like that I think looks pretty good. And then I can kind of take this and give this to Cursor and say, build me a entire web style kind of based off of this. And as I'm sure you guys saw, the thing that I actually made kind of looks like that. So but Nano Banana has been really cool. You can kind of, instead of using it like Midjourney where you're like generating a new image that you describe using your imagination, it seems like it's really good at like creating new visual information from other information. Like, I saw an example where they took like a scene from a movie and they said, show me like a lighting and camera breakdown of like how this was shot. And it's just like this whole diagram with the lights, and it says what their temperatures are set to and where the camera's at and what its settings probably are. And it's AI, so it could be all bullshit, but theoretically a very cool idea. And for some visual stuff like this, like I want to take this thing and make it look like this thing. It seems like it's really, really good at stuff like that. I've seen a lot of like, take the MGM lion, but make it Doge or something. And it does a really good job of crazy stuff like that.
I think I've told you guys before too, that when I've seen a lot of like AI art and stuff, people go like, well, I'm a prompt engineer, and they write these like 2-paragraph prompts to get a single image. And some of the coolest shit that AI has made with my prompts are like they're like poetic. So try that. Try abstraction if you're playing with AI at all. And I'm specifically talking about like Midjourney. But when you put abstract stuff in there, like I'll read you guys some of my prompts. It's funny because I've talked to people who use AI and they're like, wait, you wrote that and it gave you that? And they're like confused about it. And I'm like, yeah, I just let it cook. I let it do what it wanted to do. And because it understands language, if you speak in abstracts, like the concepts get through better than put it in this type of a shot at this angle with this lighting. Be very specific about the things you want in the shot. No, don't do that. Let it just get wild and you'll get really cool stuff. So,
and if anything, it's like make a cool thing and tell me how to set the lighting and all of that up. And it's like, I'm sure you guys could look at a lot of the things that it's saying in here. And it's like, you could take an Unreal scene using the information that you're getting out of some of these, and you could probably replicate this look fairly easily using the cinema camera and the different lights. So, you know, it's giving you everything, your temperatures and, you know, how hot it is and, you know, where your camera should be positioned and all of that. Like, again, I don't know if these are even accurate, but you could see this eventually getting really good. And some of the use cases are getting really creative, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I showed you guys the concepts that I made with Midjourney for this is the 4th level of the game in Dread. But the prompt I used was weeping statues, comma, Gothic cathedral meets stone walls, comma, black star sky with golden eclipse. And I just let it go. And it made really cool shit immediately. So if you use those abstract ideas, it makes really cool stuff. So another one I did for Hyperscape was a monolithic ceramic and steel cube rising from a vast mountain valley. The cube has blue emissive lights along its edge. A third of the way up the cube is a ledge with a doorway bathed in blue light. You know, some of that's verbose, and I'm using a lot of metaphor, but it makes very, very cool shit when you do that. So
this guy's making like a
yeah
engine diagram, so you can explode this engine out and see how it works. Again, I don't know if that's accurate, but it kind of looks accurate to me.
Here, let's see. I gotta make this a little bigger.
But it's just, I don't know, very interesting. I can see how some of this stuff is going to start extrapolating into some of the more useful, I think, sci-fi style ideas that people have had for AI that haven't really happened yet. So
the camshaft might be in a weird spot, but this is a motorcycle engine, so I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Spark plugs. Why are they going into the crankcase? That's what I don't understand. There's a lot of things going into the crankcase that shouldn't go.
Where are those going? Are they going into there? I don't think they should go in there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
so
looks a little
again,
funky.
like all AI things, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. And I don't know. You wouldn't want to have a medical diagram that you're relying on to perform surgery or anything. But, you know, there's some level of usefulness, but this is cool. I mean, it's in Gemini. If you just go to like Google Gemini like you would, and then you can hit create image right here, and that does Nano Banana, and it's pretty cool. So.
I did find the push rods. The cam could be down there because the cam is hitting push rods, so that would work. Push rods with lifters.
Okay. Yep. But yeah,
this is like
I don't know. I
win?
wanted to share that with everybody. I thought that was potentially an interesting tool for some game dev type stuff.
I should send that tweet to my buddy who's a mechanical engineer, builds like motors and machine gun parts and shit, and be like,
very upset.
What do you think of this, bro?
Find somebody who makes, you know, engineering diagrams for a living. Like, yo, check this out.
Yup. AI's coming for you, man.
This guy put himself into selfies with actors in movies. Looks pretty good. So I could do like silly stuff like this too, but it seems to take existing visual information, translate it into new visual information in an interesting way. And I think the AI is smart enough to kind of understand what you're asking and stuff like that, which with Midjourney especially, I don't think Midjourney's like processing side of things is the strongest part of it, and you have to like structure your prompts very well, and the image generation is far and above the best, but this one seems like it has like kind of the best of both worlds, maybe.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I think our consensus is ChatGPT might be cooked because of the ads. Gemini, I think Tony is saying that he's like kind of Gemini pilled now.
I'm kind of starting to think Gemini might be good to go.
Yeah.
Our chat died so hard when I started talking about AI. It's hilarious. But yeah.
Well, I was also yapping about some shit. I was checking it and like, yeah.
Kind of makes me laugh, but
I think people.
It's a divisive topic, but I think, you know, again, something to remain educated on, especially in today's world.
Yeah, don't replace people with AI, but use AI to make people more powerful. That's kind of the
quote I heard recently about in reaction to some creative people sounding upset about Midjourney for images or Suno for music and stuff like that is that this person who wrote this quote's opinion was that these AIs will never become like prolific creatives and will never replace actual real creatives, because like the entire idea behind like popular art and music and creative things is that like people do a new thing that's never been done before, and the entire way that these LLMs work is by effectively regurgitating things that they've been taught from stuff that humans have already created generally. So in theory, they're not really even capable of like creating a new thing that's never existed before because of the way that they exist, and the real creative people will never be able to be replaced because of that. And
yep,
I think I agree with that. That's pretty reassuring. So
I feel like AIs don't have inspiration. Like you can't, like, how do you fucking make an artificial intelligence become inspired? You just can't do that.
You can definitely make like new connections that maybe somebody hasn't thought of before, but like it's not going to create something that like couldn't have existed before. I think people do say like, it's going to cure cancer and blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, it's going to cure cancer based on like 70 years of us trying to cure cancer and giving it everything we figured out, and it's going to see something that we didn't see. It's not going to inherently just like come up with something that we never thought of, probably.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say like maybe that's the right way to say it, is like inspiration. It lacks inspiration. You have to be inspiring to the AI. That's why I was saying, you know, use abstracts in your prompts, like be metaphorical, and then you'll start to get really cool shit.
You could just start thinking about it like the same way people are thinking about printing presses up through Photoshop. It's like everybody always called like that not as real as the thing that it's replacing, and you know, eventually people got used to it. But it's just, you got to think about it like a creative tool to help you be better at what you do, as opposed to having it do it for you, which a lot of people, that's what they want, and they're the ones who, you know, will be replaced by it willingly.
Yeah, I think if you consider it as a replacement for craftsmanship, I don't think it's there. It might eventually get there. And what I mean is, if you're very skilled at creating a thing, but you don't have the inspiration yourself, AI will probably beat you in that. If you are inspiring to it and you have the big ideas and you have the vision and all that stuff, you truly want to be the idea guy, like, use AI. It'll help your ideas be more real. Like, that's the thing. It's really difficult for a human being to produce stuff in the same speed and quality that an AI can. It just is. That's a lifetime of focus on one specific skill set that AI just has. So I don't know. I don't think AI is coming for anyone's jobs. I don't think it's going to be, it's not like a dire situation. There was something that I read that was like, I think I read it to you guys on stream, but it was about how there's no moderate conversation around AI. There's always like, this is incredible and it's going to replace everyone, and like, we need to accept that as the future, or this is horrible and it's a dystopian future and it's going to ruin everyone's lives. There's absolutely a middle ground where it all functions, and that's the real conversation people need to have. I think that's why we talk about it. You know, I definitely understand that it bothers people. Bright side. It's coming for you, man. It's gonna convert you. I just realized it's getting a little darker. The snow must be piling up. I'm gonna go look. I gotta see. I'm excited about this snow. Yeah, the gaps in like the window well mesh are starting to fill in.
Nice.
I've got probably like 2 to 3 inches in the window well itself. Yeah, it's good. You guys are hilarious. I'm just reading the chat. Bro, you guys didn't get a winter yet? That sucks, man. Has your fall been really warm? Ours was too, like really, really warm. Like 70F type shit.
Yep. Okay, we got like 5 minutes, but I want to use our topic system one time, and I'm going to make you talk about the spooky rock in the desert.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good topic. Okay, so you guys, if you follow game stuff, you might have seen a little bit of this conversation. It makes me angry. I'm gonna rant a little bit. Okay, so while Tony's pulling it up, dark early shit sucks. Yeah, I agree with that, Brightside. I don't like it when it's dark at like 5. That sucks. These kids stop believing in John Connor and want all the shit, and cars don't even have door handles anymore. Yeah, dude. We had a bit of snow earlier in November, but it's been years since we had snow on Christmas. Oh, that sucks, dude. Yeah, ours is hit and miss. Last year, I feel like we had like an inch, if that. And I like it when there's like a foot on Christmas. That's cool as fuck.
And it's not working in OBS for some reason, but I'm pulling it up here for now.
Good, bro. No worries.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Okay, so earlier, this was early this week, right? A couple days ago.
Yeah.
This thing was announced. So, social media viral marketing campaign for some announcement at the Game Awards. There's Jeff Keighley gave people some coordinates. They went out to the spot in the desert and they found this weird sculpture that someone had erected in the desert. It's supposedly connected to a new game announcement. This shit pisses me off because it's just marketing, and I like the fact that people are speculating on what it is. Like, it's preying on natural human behavior. We're all curious. We want to know what the fuck this weird thing is. Everyone wants to be right and talk about it and say all these other things. So I'm not trying to amplify this story at all because it's literally just a marketing campaign, and that's what bothers me. The whole goal of this is not for people to figure it out and be excited about this new idea. Well, I should say the goal is to have people excited about this new idea so they spend money and buy a thing. That's what bothers me. It's not standing alone as like, this is cool, this is art, this is a thing that we can all look at and wonder. I would say contrasting this, that in a very similar way, were those like mirror polished metallic monoliths that were appearing in random locations. That was cool. I like that we
never
don't
had
know
a
what the
purpose.
fuck that is.
Yep.
We have no idea. That's great. That's art. This is marketing. This is going to be some bullshit that makes people tune into the Game Awards to watch what the announcement is. Everyone's going to be disappointed. I guarantee it. We're all going to be like, cool, man. Ha, I'm glad I followed this story. No, it's not interesting. If we're doing ARGs to make a game interesting in like the early phases before launch or announcement and shit like that, very different. And when I talk about that, I think the coolest ARG that I was ever aware of was I Love Bees. And that was a Halo ARG that was really cool. People went to these payphones and they would get like this pre-recorded message and they would have to like put this information together, work online, whatever, to figure this thing out. So an ARG is an alternate reality game. So the conceit was that they were receiving these messages from UNSC, Space Command in the Halo universe, and they had to figure out what the story was and like what was going to happen. And that led into the narrative for, was that Halo 2 or 3? I can't remember.
I Love Bees was Halo 2.
Yeah, so it was like leading into the announcement of Halo 2, which was really, really fucking cool. This shit is the low effort version of that. They spent a bunch of money, built some garbage in the desert, and then had a bunch of influencer type people talk about it as if this suddenly appeared and it's a mystery and we don't know what it's fucking for. It's for a game. Watch, this is going to be the Mortal Shell 2 thing, and I'm just talking shit about it. And Adder's like, fuck, dude, fuck.
Adder says it looks like Lords of the Fallen to him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
And I had put it in the chat. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a lot of speculation's been flying around. Diablo, Elder Scrolls, and God of War teams have all come out and said it's not them. So we know for sure that it's not those games.
This is very expensive. It's high risk. You need a lot of partnership. You need all these people to be bought in and be like, I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. And their engagement farming as well. Like, that's the thing that irritates me about it. None of this is genuine. It's all meant to have us spend money. That's what makes me angry about it. Adder was saying, you guys have snow up there right now in Colorado? Yes, it is snowing actively. When I woke up, there were like, 2 inches. We probably got another inch since,
we're probably like 4 inches in my house by now.
Yeah, it's nice. It's cool. Went and drove around a little bit, and I'm not going to be able to drive around in my car for, if it keeps snowing. It's going to be too deep. But yeah, it was fun. Adder wouldn't DM you, shut the fuck up, it was about them. No, I think Adder would laugh if I was like talking shit. He'd be like, yo, that's actually us, dude. I'd be like,
Adder might message us and be like, new friend DA information.
Yeah. Minimum money spent on marketing vibes right now. Yeah, I kind of like that. This is the hard part. Like, so I'm a creative. You guys know that. I care about the vision of the thing. I care about the business. I want to make money so that we can keep doing the thing. But I also don't want to make the marketing the focus. That shit pisses me off. If your marketing is better, like the art and the marketing is better than the fucking art that you've created for public consumption, like, you have fucked up, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's kind of where I get mad about it. But good stuff like this. ARG, like, I love bees. They created a website. It was very weird and cryptic. There were hidden images and stuff buried in the source code for the website. They had these random payphones ring at certain times of the day all around North America, and people would go find the payphone with this information that they were like able to pull out of the website, and these like weird audio clips that would pop up when people solved a different part of the mystery. And then they would go to the phone and get another piece of information that connected some other bits of data that they had. Very cool stuff. I think that's awesome. ARGs are incredibly expensive, very difficult to manage. So I get it. I understand why you would want to go this route of just erecting a weird statue in a random location and then being like, oh, look at this, guys. Tune into the Game Awards. Like, that is just, it's slop to me. It's a low level of effort. And that's what makes me grumpy about it. But again, I'm old man. I yell at clouds. It's the way it goes. Some people could say, like, I just don't like fun, and this is fun, and this is better than just a television advertising spot with like a popular music track behind it. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Also, as I look at this, a lot of people were like, oh, it's God of War because it's got like mythological images in it. And I'm like, it has a bear and it has like a tiger. Like, what do you mean?
Nobody's talking about this fucking Erd Tree door right here either.
Yep.
And I keep focusing on that. I'm like, this is clearly like this makes me think Returnal probably, or like Eros or whatever it's called.
I think you're right.
This looks like some ethereal space portal dimension shit. I don't know. The animals are weird. I will say that the animals make all of the guesses seem maybe a little off to me, but yeah, I don't know. I know we're gonna wrap up here, but the other one I want to talk about too real quick is the Helldivers movie.
Oh yeah, Helldivers movie.
We're doing it again. The main selling point of the director of the Helldivers movie is that he is not a gamer and leans into that as his strength. So, unfortunate.
Why do we do this?
He's known for turbocharging the Fast and Furious franchise. Yeah, because we know that wasn't a complete bullshit sellout after like the third movie. Into a multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon, he directed the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast 5, 6, F9, have collectively earned $2.66 billion globally. Also helmed Star Trek Beyond, and most recently did an indie film called Last Days. Yeah.
So...
Oh, and he made Uncharted. Oh, no, that's PlayStation Productions. Okay, never mind.
This guy's good at business. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't say this guy's good at art. He's good at business. That's what makes me worry. And like, of course, you want to get someone who's going to make you a lot of money when you're spending a bunch to try to change like your entertainment vector for your IP. I get that. I'm just not excited for it. But no, I'm already arguing against myself here in my head. I was going to say, but if it goes the route of the Super Mario movie, the animated one that Nintendo did, it could be really good. I doubt it's going to go that way because this guy doesn't understand the source material.
Helldivers has had some okay cinematic content around it since it did initially come out. They have a lot of like kind of Starship Troopers-esque tongue-in-cheek, propaganda type things. And, there's like the dude in the neighborhood with his family and then he's getting eaten by bugs or whatever. And they had an episode in Secret Level that was kind of interesting. So, I don't know. It could be okay, but they're probably going to fuck it up because they put a non-gamer in charge.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
That's also why I'm worried about Garland.
And they're touting like the Fast and Furious thing. It's like you weren't involved in any of the good parts of the Fast and Furious, in my opinion. So,
yep. So, I don't know. This is probably going to be ass. Yep. They will probably make money. It's a popular IP.
If it's similar to the Secret Level thing, might be good. Kind of doubt that because it seems like maybe it's going to be like live action and that one was 3D animated, but I don't know.
Look what happened with Halo.
That's what I'm saying.
That Halo show fucking sucks.
Look at what happened with Halo.
It's so fucking bad. It sucks. I've tried so hard to watch it and I end up just being like, this is, even while I'm playing a game, this is irritating me so much. I'm just going to shut it off and pick something else. I'll put on like King of the Hill.
I will say the Halo show looks visually fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They nailed it. It looks exactly the way it should look. And every time I see scenes from it or like the stills come up on Netflix, it just makes me so sad because I'm like, that's how it should look. It's really sad that the rest of it is not good because they're so close.
This is the thing. This is why I'm ranting. It's very clippable.
Yep.
And it's very enticing.
It looks really interesting in the clips. Like I've heard it from you guys enough to like not even fall for it. I'm not going to try.
Yep. And then when you're like, oh my God, this looks amazing because you're like, all the good parts they're not showing, it must be really good. And then you watch it and you're like, there's no good parts in here. Everything I watched that was interesting was action
a 5-second clip
of fucking
of
trailer.
Master Chief shooting a shotgun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Shitty sitcom with the Halo brand slapped on the title screen. Exactly.
And the armor looks so fucking good, Adder. That's the worst part. Like, it looks like it should look. No complaints about the visuals. It sucks.
They just didn't understand the fucking source material. They did not get it whatsoever.
Yep.
They're like, this is our interpretation of it. There were absolutely pointless characters. They didn't tell the Fall of Reach correctly. There was like zero faithful.
The story is good.
Story.
Like, there's some games you could adapt where it's like, there's not much story here. We're going to have to kind of make some shit up. It's like Halo has a very strong narrative background that exists. Yeah. Like, you could have just followed it. It would have been easy.
Yeah, Adder, I did read your message about the BioShock movie. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
About BioShock movie?
He was just being snarky, and he was like, yeah, that was a joke, his sarcasm, because there never was one, and they suck at everything, and I'm like, yeah.
No, to your point, Infinite's the only BioShock that would make sense as a movie in the first place, and I don't want to watch that.
But. Shadow TJNL, yo, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. I missed it somewhere, but I just saw it in chat, so I don't know if you actually followed or if that's like.
While we're complaining about things, let's talk about Metroid Prime.
Yes, dude. All right. Okay. So Tony is a massive Metroid fan. I have to say this, like,
yeah. If you don't know,
we've been talking about
Samus right there. I mean, there's 10 Samuses in this basement at least.
Yeah, and we've been talking about stuff adjacent to powered armor with arm cannons and shit like that for like well over 5 years. So
here's a morph ball.
I kind of want to let you go off a bit. I will say
I'll just say, like, based on my track record, you think I would have pre-ordered this game, and I have almost no interest in purchasing it or playing it, and it makes me really sad.
Dude, reviews are.
They're calling it Ocarina of Prime. What's my other favorite game ever? Ocarina of Time. You would think like maybe these two games mashed together would be extremely enticing to me, but like I don't really want to play a modern 2025 video game that is emulating a game that came out in 1997.
But it's also doing it in a really bad way. They have unnecessary characters that deliver comic relief in cutscenes and yap at Samus. They have a motorcycle you can drive around in an open world. From what I saw, you were on tracks unless you're in the desert, which I was just like, what the fuck is this? Very visually well.
The visuals look incredible. It looks so
very
good.
pretty.
Yeah.
The gameplay in the trailer was bad. I was like, what is this? There's nothing new or interesting in here. It looks so fucking bad, just to me. But I'm looking at it from like a gameplay perspective, and I'm like, I want to see shit. And when they did show moments of gameplay, I was like,
I would say if anything, it looks like Metroid Prime 1, which came out in I think 2003, maybe 2002, and it's just like, Metroid Prime played more like GoldenEye than it did like Halo, because they didn't really implement like a dual stick system, so you're really reliant on like locking on and stuff like that. And they've kind of half modernized it on the Switch with the Metroid Prime remake, but you still mostly lock on. You can twin stick, but the game is designed around you being able to lock on. I'm pretty sure they didn't even get rid of that in this new one, and it's just, I don't know. Metroid has always kind of been similar to like Aliens, about Samus being alone on a planet and kind of fighting for survival, and a lot of desolation and stuff like that. And yeah, in the first 5 minutes of this game, you're introduced to like NPCs who are talking to you over the radio the whole time, and I don't know.
They're telling you how to play the game too.
It's like literally Atreus from God of War. Like, look at that thing up there. You could probably shoot that with your missile and it would fall down. And it's just like, I don't know. Kind of upsetting to me.
The other thing in the trailer I watched, they had like power metal going the whole time, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That should be like weird electronic music.
Yeah, it should be like the musical score from Annihilation, or like silent. That's what it should be, because that's the whole point. Samus like crashes on a alien planet, discovers the Metroids, and is like, oh shit, I was bounty hunting Ridley, and like this fucking space terrorist, because I think that's what he was, this like dragon space terrorist is like killing people and shit, and I gotta go kick his ass and drag him in to collect this bounty. And then she's like, uh-oh, what are these crazy things, and what are these what were the fucking statues called?
Chozo?
Yeah, she's like, there's a lost civilization here. Apparently they all got wiped out by the Metroids. I gotta fucking deal with this. Like, that's a cool story.
Nobody talks to you
what the fuck this story is.
Metroid Prime 1 or Super Metroid. You go through that entire game alone, quote unquote. Your computer kind of tells you when it like senses things or whatever. And some of the more recent games, like I want to say in Prime 2, you're technically like working with the Federation, but you go to this planet and everybody's dead, and you're trying to figure out why because of Dark Samus. And in 3, kind of a similar thing, and in Metroid Dread, kind of a similar thing again. I don't know.
That's okay, but that's a good formula. I mean, Legend of Zelda is the same story.
Every more recent game introduces a little less of, I guess, like the isolation and the aloneness and stuff, but nobody's ever happy about it. That's for sure. And like, you've ever heard of Metroid Other M, which was a Wii U game that is probably like the worst rated Metroid game ever made. It was made out of house by Konami, maybe. And they tried to do a bunch of weird shit that did not really pan out. But that one leans really heavily into like Samus being part of the Federation and working on a squad with this guy named Adam. And it talks about like her backstory as she like worked with this team, and very weird.
It was actually Team Ninja.
Oh, Team Ninja. Okay. Yep.
Which I have to say again,
I just remember it being like a developer that makes pretty good games usually, but it was them making a Nintendo game that Nintendo usually makes in-house. And yeah,
I don't know if it was Itagaki Team Ninja though. That's the problem.
No, I think it was, because he felt very strongly. I've watched some interviews about certain things, and it's the reason it ended up the way it did is because he felt strongly enough about like these certain things needing to be in there that like they kind of ended up staying there, but they didn't really like lend to the rest of the game that they had built around it. And he admits fully, he's like, kind of my fault because I really wanted these things to be there, but then the game ended up being this.
He was not involved in Other M.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what they're saying. And so Itagaki
like another Team Ninja guy. I just remember hearing this interview.
Yeah, so there's a problem So Itagaki was very contentious, really strong personality. He's the guy that I told the story about with Armageddon. He's the guy who recently passed away too early in his 50s. Yo, Stevie, yo, welcome Raiders. We're actually running late. We didn't mean to go this long.
I don't mind though. I appreciate the raid. That's awesome.
So there was an article that I found about Itagaki's memorial service, and people who had problems with Itagaki in the past were like, we miss him and we wish he wasn't gone. And I'm like, you guys should have let him cook more. Like, he was fucking great. And yeah, he's a very weird personality and he's loud, but he made some of the coolest shit ever in video games. Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, R.I.P. King. This guy who they're talking about in this interview, Hayashi Yosuke, he is an EVP at Koei Tecmo, so he's more than likely responsible for pushing Itagaki out. And he's talked about how, you know, he was assigned as like a game planner, so like a producer, to Itagaki's team working on Ninja Gaiden, and there were problems. But Ninja Gaiden 2, they worked together very well and they were able to fix things. But it's weird to me. I mean, I understand you want to honor someone in passing and say very nice things about them, because you should never speak ill of the dead. You know, it's fucked up. But what I thought was interesting is how, like, these guys probably had beef. Like, they were probably not super cool. And I would guarantee that the guy who delivered this like kind eulogy and these kind words was probably involved in pushing Itagaki out and preventing him from doing the cool shit that he was known for. So that's what I thought was really weird. But like, I'm also sad that we're not going to get more really cool Itagaki magic because he's gone, and that fucking sucks. So I don't know.
58 is young. It's tough.
Yeah. I was always wondering about like cause of death, and so I was like Googling that a little bit, and they were saying that he was hospitalized for like 3 months before he passed away. So I do know this. So I've told you guys before, the famous quote from him was that after there was like a crash out on a game that got canceled or something like that, he ended up watching Armageddon for like several months straight and just binge drinking. They did disclose that after his hospitalization, his doctors informed him he had to quit drinking, otherwise he was going to die. So he might have had like organ failure from alcoholism. That would be kind of my assumption. And that sucks. It's really sad. That sucks. It's hard being an artist, guys. Really hard. So, you know, I don't know. This guy will always have a soft spot in my heart. Big inspiration. I love his games. I love the things he's made. I like DOA. I liked DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball. I played that back in the day on the Xbox.
New DOA looks really interesting to me. It's like different looking than most of the fighting games that are out right now.
It's not Itagaki, dude. It's they're like, you know?
Yeah.
He made a bunch of really cool shit that everybody loves, and then they fucking pushed him out because he was problematic. But he made the cool shit because he's problematic. He did stuff against their will, and they were like,
him and great, we ever had lunch together, and they're like, man, fuck those guys.
I get the impression that Kojima doesn't actually want to talk to a lot of people. He just wants to be
do
left
agree
alone.
with that. Yep.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 people around him that he's comfortable with, and they like shield everybody else from talking to him. Yep.
Yeah, because he just doesn't want to interact.
Yep. I very much agree with you there.
I could see that. But I feel like Itagaki was kind of the opposite. He was like really loud. If anything, he's probably a lot like me. We have very strong opinions. We don't, we say exactly what we mean. Culturally, as a Japanese person, that would be very difficult. I could imagine that he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because you don't say what's on your mind if you're Japanese. You don't. And I get the impression that he did all the time. And he'd be like, no, fuck off. Like, I'm doing this. And they'd be like, bro, get in line. You got to fucking, know your place, do your thing. And he's like, fuck you, I'm a rock star, which I love that about him. And because he's a rock star, he made some amazing shit. Like, Itagaki's the jiggle physics guy in DOA. Obviously, that's a problem. Obviously, publicly, people are like, we can't support this. But people who played that shit were like, this is amazing. We love this. So, I don't know. It sucks. I'm sad he's gone. I'm sad that, Ninja Gaiden had this new release come out. I think it's appropriately probably fallen just to the wayside. No one really cares about it.
Didn't seem like it was very well received, unfortunately.
Yep. And I saw all the games journalism outlets fucking gassing it up and saying it's great and it's got all this stuff. And I'm like, if you like Ninja Gaiden, you would not like this game. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, take it easy, Stevie. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for
the raid, Stevie. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Also, welcome Raiders. I'm obviously we're in rant mode. Yep. We were gonna end like 20 minutes ago, but
let's keep ranting and talk about marathon.
Oh yeah, it's marathon time. All right, let's do it. Okay. Yep. All right, so I saw on Twitter, because I follow Anti-Real, that Anti-Real tweeted, what was it?
Marathon. Oh no, that's the original.
I threw it in the channel. Okay, the marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction. That was a tweet from Anti-Real. Immediately after that tweet, publication after publication after publication started writing stories about this, and I'm like, there's one fucking tweet. There's
zero information about this aside from it has been resolved to my satisfaction.
So fucking funny. Like, and we'll never know. We'll never know what happened because I guarantee there's non-disclosure agreements.
The only thing we may find out that I think might be interesting is if Marathon ever does come out someday, which is admittedly questionable, will Anti-Real's name be in the credits? That's going to be the only thing we will be able to discern from the entire situation. And I don't know what it'll mean one way or another. You see a ton of responses to these articles and stuff of people, you know, with giant piles of money and stuff because everybody assumes that that's what happened to make this go away. They might have given Anti-Real a job and, you know, a good salary and a bonus and said, "We good?" And Anti-Real might have gone, "Yep, I'm good." Like, we'll never know. We will never know.
I would imagine Anti-Real would not want to work with these people.
Probably not. But like,
if they stole her shit. That's crazy.
Or maybe Sony goes to Anti-Real and is like, we'll give you a job at any studio as an artist, and we'll give you a big bonus, and this all goes away. We never talk about it again. Like, it very well could have been something like that, which might have been a good move because that's a little bit more like longevity and
benefits,
control over something instead of just getting a big pile of money to make it go away and never be able to talk about it again.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be tricky.
Yeah. It would be tricky.
Like, so if Anti-Real did the smartest thing in their own interest, it would be hiring a team of lawyers, making sure you got the most out of it, and handling it that way, and then getting your payout and continuing to do what you're going to do. I mean, obviously, like, so for me, if I were in that position, I'd be like, this entire relationship started off in bad faith. I don't want to work with these people. I never would want to. I'd be like, no, they were trying to fuck me over and they fucked up. So they need to fix this. They got to pay me. Yep. And when I get compensated for it, I won't say anything bad about them, but I wouldn't want to work with them just personally. I'd be like, hell no. So
it strikes me as like, I can think of a few situations in the past where people in similar situations have kind of ended up like getting to be involved in an official capacity, because it's like, well, if you're going to unofficially use my shit, then like at least give me a say, and I actually do care about this, and I would really like an opportunity to like contribute to it. I don't think that, to your point, I really don't think that that's what's happening here probably, but
it's too hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like, how would you ever know? You know, like it would just be too hard to tell.
And we will never know. Like we said, I feel very confident in saying we will never know.
Yeah. It's also like not our business. Yep. You know, the public wants to know all this shit. They want to know the drama. I anticipate that there's going to be more fucking React content to this situation. I bet we're going to see an Asmongold video. We're going to see some other shit. We're going to see legendary drops. We'll see, you know, the Bungie content creators are going to speak out and be like, oh, it's great. Bungie's doing right. See, have some faith. I don't know. I mean, I guess we're technically reacting to it, but it's news, you know.
We've been on top of the marathon stuff
Yeah, I mean,
for obvious reasons.
Worked there.
So, yeah, just,
that's I think that's a little different.
I'm glad that you talked about it the way you did, because that was kind of the point that I wanted to make, was like, there's literally nothing here, and this is a pretty big news story, and literally it's a 1-sentence news story. That's all the information that we know, and I don't think it's really worth talking about beyond there. It's interesting,
Chris Scullion again squeezes out an 8-paragraph article about a tweet that's 1 sentence
alongside 17 other publications that all say exactly the same thing. Yep.
This shit is so gross, and I think it's
God, that's why I'm just like openly like, I'm building a machine to just like steal your content so that I don't have to show your ads to my viewers on the stream.
Yes,
because like you are cancer and you're not really adding too much to the conversation here, and so
it's a part of why I dislike games journalism specifically. This is all just marketing. They're all pretending that this is news. It's not fucking news. It's a way to make money. I see these people. There was this like relatively famous like film and music critic or something like that who tweeted something years ago saying criticism is an art form in and of itself, and people fucking lost their minds. I think rightfully so.
Was it like Ebert or something?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I want to say it was like an editor for like Pitchfork or some shit like that. Okay. Someone who like comments on film and music all the time. That's their whole career. So, I agree with the people crashing out on that person, only because to say that, like, at least be fucking honest with people about what you do. Don't like overinflate your ego and be like, I make art by criticizing art. No, you fucking don't, dude. You just got an opinion that people find valuable, and you consume a lot of content, so they want to see what your opinion is, because they may not have the time or the fucking desire to consume all this shit and then talk about it. So I just wish people would be more honest about it. They'd be like, yeah, you're here to get opinions. That's what I like about like content creator streamers that do reviews. So if we've talked about SkillUp a few times, I don't care for SkillUp's opinions, but that's because it's just, they're not opinions that I share. But SkillUp does a good job. I think
very unbiased for the most part. I think he does a good job with that.
I think the editorialization is really appropriate, and when SkillUp does editorialize, he talks about his own opinions and his own gamer taste, which I appreciate. So,
and he talks about how he funds all of his trips and visits and stuff himself, even though the companies are offering to pay for it for him, so he can say whatever he wants. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess what I'm saying is I wish more people would be like SkillUp. And I'm clarifying because, I've said that I don't care for SkillUp's opinions many times. I don't watch SkillUp because I know that I don't agree with SkillUp. But as a content creator and the type of content that SkillUp creates, we need more of that. That's appropriate. That's good.
He's also making a platform. It's paid, so I don't know if it's entirely aimed in the right direction, but like the vision for it is exactly the same thing we were just saying. He's like, games journalism is so bad now that it's impossible to find like a quality source that isn't filled with ads and like terrible to look at. So he's making a website. I think it's called like thisweekinvideogames.com, and it costs X dollars per month, and it's like no ads game news site. And he started talking about it after I started talking about it, I'm just gonna say, but definitely a similar idea. So
I think the one of the big things that gives me pause with SkillUp is that he does the Friends Per Second podcast with Jason Schreier, and I very much dislike that.
I don't know if I even knew that. It's interesting.
Yep.
Okay. No.
Well, I know that
I knew he did that podcast. I didn't know Jason Schreier was on it.
I don't know if he's like a regular, but I know that he's been on it a few times. And I just do not like that guy because that guy is a very obvious parasite who does not, he pretends he's not. All he does is get gossip, pay people to get like juicy stories so he can talk shit. He wrote a fucking book about working in the games industry, and this dude has never made a game in his life. That makes me so fucking mad. I'm like, what's the point? Like, what do you do? And how do you consider yourself, an artist or like a creator of any kind? Like, you just fucking nonsense. I don't know. It just bleh. The Trent Grimm of video games. I liked him though. I came around on Trent Grimm.
No, like everybody in that show, he had personal growth and came around instead of he ended up being friends with them and stuff. But especially early on, he's just there to basically benefit from them failing and writing articles about it and making
you're right.
It look stupid. So
yeah, you're right. I see what you mean. I totally agree. Yeah. Jason Schreier is like the Trent Grimm of fucking video games. I would agree with that. Like, dude's out there to just capitalize off of other people's misfortune and like a contentious story and like a mistake.
Story. Yep.
I fucking hate it. I think I've told you guys before, but there was this moment at working on Destiny where there were a bunch of leaks that were happening. And the leaks were bad because they didn't have anything to do with anything that had any substance or any. It had no meaning, right? Like, if you guys have heard the famous comment about Bungie Insider says that it can take 4 hours to see the results of moving a rock 2 inches in the engine. That was a Jason Schreier scoop, and he got that from someone who didn't make the game. They didn't fucking make the game. They were just providing some bullshit. I know this because I was on the inside. I probably can't talk about it, but I'm not going to mention names or anything else. But I know that this person, was discovered and removed, but they were literally just shoveling information to Jason Schreier because they believed they were doing the right thing and fixing the industry. And I'm like, you're just making all your coworkers' jobs harder. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You've told me like the USB ports on the machines in the Bungie office don't even work, right?
Yes, they're all disabled by the IT team.
Yep.
You can't take anything in or out of the studio. Everything you work on in the studio stays in the studio. At least that's the way it was when I was there. So, it might have changed by now, but they were very, very strict on, OPSEC and InfoSec.
Most of the leaks come from dev adjacent employees, not actually devs. Yeah, I would imagine that's almost always the case. Yep.
Exactly, Adder.
Yep. The devs are making it. They care about it more than anyone. There's no way they would.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was so depressing when that shit happened. We were like, dude, what the fuck? Like, none of this is right. It's like kind of truth adjacent. It's really weird. And if someone goes, does it really take 4 hours to rebuild the game after you move a rock 2 inches?
How many times have I asked you that question since I met you?
Yes, it fucking does. But it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It means nothing. It does. And then of course, like, all the fans go like, this is why your game sucks. You guys are fucking lazy and you build shit. And it's like, dude, why are you even having this conversation with the public? It's a skeleton. It's dirty laundry that no one needs to fucking know. And it's a pain in the workplace. Like, makes your job a little bit harder. It can be frustrating as a team member building a thing. But making that public knowledge,
they would go like, look at this game. They do everything better than you guys do. And it's like, all right, what's your favorite game? Is it Destiny or that game?
Exactly.
Destiny. And it's like, shut up.
And Adder's totally right. It took 4 hours to rebuild. But we also had multiple machines and server pipelines to offset it. Yes, it was.
You made Destiny. Like, nobody else made Destiny. That's the crazy part of the conversation every time. It's like, nobody. What are you comparing it against? Nothing else exists that is the same thing. Like, I don't know.
So yeah, it's as a team member, it's really exhausting and demoralizing to see that shit happen. And you're like, for what it's worth, inside the studio, nobody knew who the person was. That information was all like carefully under wraps. It was like very forbidden to know anything about it. The only reason I knew was because I had friends and I talked to people and they told me, and I understood what was going on. But that's why I was saying, like, the person didn't even fucking work in the game. Like, they made other stuff. They did support role stuff. And I'm like, why are you in here in this role, like, airing all the dirty secrets? And like, I don't even know if they got paid by Jason Schreier. And they were like, this is important. The public needs to know. I'm like, no, it's not important. And nobody needs to know. It doesn't fucking matter. You're just making everyone's lives way harder. I just didn't. It was so irritating. I had 3 machines on my desk in 2014. Work for an hour, kick off a build, jump to the next machine. Yeah, I mean,
that was for Bungie?
Yeah, that was my process too. I would have like, I didn't have 3 because I wasn't doing the crazy builds that Adder was doing, but I had to do some tools optimization.
Our team literally had server racks on wheels at our desks for all the machines while they were stuck in builds, several PS3 dev kits, multiple machines. Man, That's crazy.
It was painful, man. It was hard.
Yeah.
But also like that's why I keep saying it. It doesn't matter. Nobody in the public is gonna understand, and they're just gonna talk shit and like be mean to the people making the thing that they love and care about and have spent thousands of hours playing. That's why it makes me angry, is because I'm like, the only reason this knowledge came out and people were talking about it is because of this fucking parasite who was in there being like, I'm telling the hard truths of the game industry. Like, dog, you don't fucking work there. You haven't made anything. You're just out there making noise and causing problems for people you don't even know. Like, go do something better with your life. That's why it makes me mad.
This is one of the reasons why DevOps is one of those like unsexy things that people don't really care about as much as they should. I'm definitely one of them, but it's like you could have the conversation here about like how much dollars all of that wasted time that you guys are talking about equals, and how like fixing it would save X amount of money over time or create like X amount of efficiency for the cost of trying to fix the problem. But clearly it would be more expensive to fix than not. Otherwise they would have done it.
Yeah, and that was a constant conversation inside the studio too. Like the engineers were like, dude, this is fucked, let us fix it. And they're like, it's gonna take time and it will break stuff. So for what it's worth, while I was there, that was 100% one of the things that they did. And they engineered an entire new feature set and all this other tools stuff while working on the game. And you know, like I knew everyone. I was on a team where I didn't want to go into magical future land and not ship any content. I decided to go work on shipping content instead. So I moved away from that team and did other stuff. So I was still back in like, oh, it's going to take me, 4 hours to do a new build because I moved to Rock, right? But it was fine. It was fucking fine. There were always ways to work around it. Just like Adder was saying, I never just sat around like they claimed. Yeah, that's the other problem, is that when you have that discourse publicly, you get one source of information. It's not from someone who actually did that pipeline or workflow. And they talked about how people were just sitting the fuck around and how like management is a problem and all. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I never even thought
about
it that way, but that's interesting that like some people would take it that way, that like somebody was like hitting build and like going home for the day because it was going to take so long and then come back to work the next day. It's like clearly they were doing something else during that time. Like, I don't know.
That was a huge part of the discourse, and people were saying this is why Bungie is so fucking lazy and why they can't make a good game, is because they got all these people and those people aren't doing anything. They're moving a rock and it takes 4 hours, and they just fucking check out and go to lunch and walk home with their 6-figure salaries, calling us all idiots and milking us for every dime we have. And I'm like, what is this conversation? What the fuck? So yeah, that's one of the reasons I very much dislike this journalist, is because he does that shit and he will pay people.
Took 4 hours to cook a console build for PS3 or Xbox 360, but we also made a Super 6 system that allowed to push temp changes to the active build without rebuilding. I often would only recook once a day. That's how the first ever path tracer was implemented in games. We were path tracing and running PS3 builds to rebuild stat. Whoa.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy, dude. That's so cool.
Yep. And it's because the tools to build Destiny were designed to build a Halo, and Destiny was a very different kind of a game with like, a pseudo level streaming thing. It was multiplayer all the time, very different. So, they were kind of like duct taping things together to make the engine do what they wanted it to do. But like I said, in my time there, in the first like 2 years there, they had built an entirely new suite of tools that made that not bad. And like nobody fucking talked about that because they don't want to talk about how they got new tools and proprietary tech and all this other shit. Like, that's not the conversation. Instead, it's lazy devs, bad management. Why are they milking us for every dime? This is why they're doing it. That's why my fucking, new hat costs $25, is because they need all this money to cover the waste that they have. No, man, that's not how it works. Take the tinfoil hat off. But yeah, that's another reason why we're doing this stream, is so that we can just have real fucking conversations and like we can just show you guys what's going on. Because I hate that messy discourse and that disconnect in how people are like, oh, we don't want to give away trade secrets and we can't engage with the conversation. We're not going to have the conversation. It's like, dude, just fucking tell people. Then you take away the weapons these journalists have. You take away their ammo. They don't have anything, and they can't make a story that makes them a ton of money that doesn't matter. Like it's not even a real conversation. Just like this fucking anti-real tweeted, "Hey, I'm happy with the situation now." It's whack. Shit is so whack.
I was gonna see if I could find that original story because I haven't looked at it in a long time, but
oh, that's cool as fuck, Adder. I didn't know that. The whole debug system where you could place lights. I mean, I was disconnected from lighting, so you know, I had to stay in my lane and go make the bad guys show up so you can shoot them, and it's fun and interesting. I did try a lot to interface with as many different teams as I could. I think I told you there was like we had a talk from someone at NASA GPL about topography and environment for Mars, and like I was like looking at that. I was hanging out in there, and one of the artists was like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "I'm a designer." They're like, "Why are you in here?" And I'm like, "Because I work on this game, and I want to know how this goes together." Like, what the fuck are you saying? But I mean, not everyone there was a shithead. There were just some weirdos.
Do you want to talk about the Shovel Knight one?
I guess we could. Yeah, that's probably.
I think it's kind of an interesting conversation to have. I don't know what to think about it aside from what I was saying yesterday about just how, like, if you're relying on your next game's success and everything you're doing is make or break, you're making bad business decisions. And
yep.
And I've seen a lot of people talking about this studio, the Shovel Knight studio, is make or break and relying on its next game's success. A lot of people are just saying, if you made Shovel Knight and then this is the situation that you're in, like again, you have made some very poor business decisions along the way, because this is a very successful game that has made them a lot of money over time and has been on every console since like PS3, I think. And I don't know. I think it's another example of a company that just saw success happening and started writing checks that they maybe weren't going to be able to cash and stretching themselves a little thin, and now they're riding all of their hopes on a 8-bit knockoff Link to the Past type game that I don't know.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, and I was looking into what Yacht Club Games has done. They did a bunch of Shovel Knight stuff, and then they got into publishing, and I'm like, oh, that's the problem. They scaled way too fast. They had too much money, and they're like, let's be a publisher. We can make money off of money. And I'm like, fuck, dude, why would you do that? Like, publishing is such a huge apparatus. It's crazy as like an indie to be like, we're publishers now. They probably looked at Relogic, and they were like, well, Terraria guy did it. Terraria guy made one game. That's it. One fucking game. And that game just happened
Still
to
making
be,
it.
Yep. And he's supposed to have made Terraria 2. He's supposed to have made Terraria Tales from fucking whatever.
Otherworld.
Yeah, Otherworlds. That was it. He's announced all these crazy ideas, but I think for whatever reason he's stopped doing that because he realizes that he doesn't want to overreach, because then he'll kill his whole thing. I think that's what happened with Yacht Club. I think they overreached. They tried to scale too quickly. They were counting on success that wasn't there yet. And now they're in a very dangerous position where they have this, how long has Mina taken? Mina's like 6 years in dev or some shit like that. A wildly long time for a 8-bit 2D game in 2025. Like, that's...
Mina the Holler was originally announced in early 2022 with Kickstarter raising $1.2 million. It heavily delayed, leading to current situation 2 years later, where the game still doesn't have a firm release date. One thing that I was reading about them too that people said was an original mistake they had made is that Shovel Knight was a Kickstarter game originally, and it did really, really, really well. It was like kind of up the era of like when games would make $40 million on Kickstarter or whatever. And they had a ton of incentive tiers for DLC that ended up getting hit, and they effectively promised for whatever amount of money that they had made that they were going to make like 6 DLCs on top of their main game. And I saw some people pointing out that like economically that probably didn't actually line up with the amount of money that they had raised.
Yep.
And so while it does seem like they've been very successful, they probably have spent almost all of it just developing all the Shovel Knight DLCs and working on this new game.
It's crazy. The statement there in the middle, it's make or break for sure. If we sold 500,000 copies, then we would be golden. That's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, assume this game is $20. We're talking $10 million then, I'm pretty sure.
Games do not sell 500,000 copies. I'm sorry. A successful game is like over 100K. It is. When we're talking AAA blockbusters.
Like Elden Ring or like Arc Raiders or Battlefield or, these games that are fucking massive. That's 500,000 copies. Yep.
And that is oh shit, we hit a fucking jackpot. Yep. We're lucky. All these different things aligned and now we had a success. That's very fucking rare. Incredibly rare.
They probably sold 500,000 copies of Shovel Knight over the years, but I would argue there's 10 times more games in the market now than there were even when Shovel Knight came out. It's like your competition is a lot steeper now, bro. And you're making an 8-bit Link to the Past knockoff.
I wanted to talk about Adder was dumping a bunch of information about the tech for building in Destiny and stuff. He was saying we do playtests with dev kits. Designers could pause a multiplayer game. Designer would make changes and then reset the match, and we'd test without a recook. I remember Adder being told not to use that because it didn't work and it was janky. So yeah, I thought it was pretty fucking cool, but they were like, don't do that. It can cause problems and make everything like
Reload and Unreal to this day, it still doesn't work super great from what I understand, but
yeah. So it was cool if it's cool if that you guys use that process and it was like totally fine. I was literally told not to even try using it. I was really excited about it, but like my management was like, don't use this. Do not. It will cause problems.
It definitely works, but I know some teams avoided it because they were scared about bugs.
Yep. It kind of pissed me off.
Said, I can't say much on numbers, but 100,000 copies would be a good with lots of O's day for Mortal Shell 2. Yeah, I mean, again, if you sold 100,000 copies at even $20 a copy, I'm sure Mortal Shell will probably be a little higher than that because it's leaning more like AAA. But $20 at 100,000 copies, you're looking at $2 million. Cut out 30% for Steam and another like 30% for your taxes. So, you're making a little under $1 million in your pocket.
Oh, good.
You got to pay your people and anything, marketing, other things that I didn't say, of course. But
you can make another game.
100,000 copies for a little under $1 million, like that would keep us going for a couple of years. Easy.
That is the commercial success for sure.
Yeah.
You don't need to sell 500,000 copies or 1 million copies of a game to be successful. And if you're in a position that you need to, you have fucked up.
Yep. We need the Steam frame to come out really bad right now because I saw some discussion recently about a big VR game that had launched recently. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Can't right now, but there was speculation that 348 people had completed the tutorial on Steam.
For the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was like one of the biggest VR releases of the year.
Oh, it was only like 350
It was like
people.
300 people. And it did also release on Quest, and there's like worse stats on Quest, so it's harder to figure out. But people think, there's probably some there, but the numbers are low. They're a lot lower than they used to be for sure.
Yeah, VR's in a low spot right now for sure. Adder says I called them weak. Hell yeah, dude. Based. Shovel Knight 2 or Shovel Knight has sold 2.5 million copies. Yeah, so that's the problem. He
thinks they're gonna do it again.
Yeah, he thinks they're gonna do it again. And you can't plan for that kind of success. It's not realistic in any way.
You should assume the opposite, if anything, and be happily excited when it goes well.
Brightside was saying, I didn't know Kickstarter still get back for games. So one of the crazy things about Kickstarter, Brightside, and I know this from a friend of mine who I worked with at Sphero, he successfully did, I think it was like 6 to 10 Kickstarters, which is crazy.
But like in the 2010s.
Yeah, but I've talked to him about it, and I was like, that doesn't seem like very much. And he goes, dude, less than 6% of Kickstarters get funded. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. So the fact that I'm like, win for win on every single one is crazy. And so then we've talked about like Kickstarter strategies and stuff like that. But the Kickstarter business model is that people think they're going to hit it big with whatever the fuck they kickstart. And Kickstarter takes a cut, even if it doesn't go. So think about that.
Yep.
They want people to believe that these are all successful. But again, it's 6%. There's millions of Kickstarters. So that's a very, very low number of successes. So just consider that. I've done enough research into crowdfunding, which is why I was like, we don't touch this, Tony. Like, it's not good.
I have no interest in it. I've literally never backed a Kickstarter in my entire life, and probably never would.
I've personally seen and known people who tried Indiegogos and Kickstarters so many times that their brand was permanently damaged and they had to restart their entire business under a new brand and try to be somebody else. People were
thing is that you're promising people things that don't exist yet for their money, and they're gonna want them, and you're gonna have to deliver on them. And I don't know, a little easier conversation to have when you're just like, hey, I made this thing, you should buy it.
So also, I think that's a good dovetail into live stream. I see this as like a Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but we're committing to you guys to be here. You can just fucking talk to us instead of like, oh, Kickstarter's live, drop a message in the chat and we'll get back to you.
No, I'll show you my proprietary code if you want to see it. Like,
yeah, and we're
nicely, like,
we're literally here. You guys can just talk to us and be like, hey, why didn't you do this or whatever? You know, like we're here and we're committed to being here. So we'll always be here, you know, for better or worse, doing the thing. And I feel like that's more genuine than like, please give money. Okay, bye. And then just like disappearing for 6 months and hoping that your shit gets funded while you're like behind the scenes and like tweeting and like getting all the people you know to, you know, that's another part of it that I understood from talking to this guy is he was like, there's a fixed number you want to go for. You need to understand what your social media reach is or your social circle reach for everyone on the team who can contribute to the success of the Kickstarter. If you use it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the fuck, if you use that as like statistical mathematics to be like, we know this many people based on this many people in the team and social media presence and other things, we can successfully get this many people's friends and family to give us $5 to $10. We know that we need to ask for this much. Otherwise we won't succeed. And if you don't succeed, you don't get any of the money. So it's a weird statistics math problem too, to be successful. It makes it seem a little more shitty if you think about it that way, right? Because then you're like, oh, I'm convincing people who care about me to give me enough money, you know, not trying to be successful out in the world with strangers because I made a good thing. You're like min-maxing the numbers so that you can hit a target. So yeah, it's fucking weird. Damn, that's wild. How much for the dark mode certification?
I told him $699.99 Black Friday. So
okay, I was gonna come up with something, but that's better. They are great with finances if they're not great with finances if they're make or break. Is that what you meant, Adder? Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, I think for a game studio, I don't know if this is true anymore, but I heard that you need to be able to operate for like 3 to 5 years without releasing a product at all with no income in order to be able to survive as a game studio. So you need to have that deep of a war chest based on your burn through and everything else and the size of your team and the projects you're making. You have to use like a metric that is, you know, we could survive making literally nothing in 3 to 5 years, as long as at the end of 3 or 5 years, we've put another product in the market that could get us.
I do think a lot of studios just go like, we're just not going to make money for 3 to 5 years. And then hopefully it goes well. And I think a better way to go about it would be to go, we're probably not going to make money for 3 to 5 years and we need to behave as such. But
yes,
at the same time, we definitely need to try to make money in the next 3 to 5 years while we make this game. And, you know, that's why we're doing the stream. That's why I'm setting this website stuff up that we're talking about. That's why we're making Dread instead of Hyperskate right now. That, you know, there's a holistic nature to all of this that I think some people just want to be a game dev, like, which is fine. It just,
well, also, to be fair, Tony,
be harder.
You have to consider that neither of us has started a game studio before.
Yeah.
And so we've got more lead-in time. Sure. Like, we probably spent the first 2.5 years, which is most of the time that we've been doing this, figuring out what the fuck we're doing anyway, how to make the business, what the pieces are, how they all fit together, what is successful, what isn't. I mean, there's a ton of shit that we used to do that we don't anymore because it didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. But there are some things that do work, like this 4 hours a week stream. You know, it works really well, especially because of absolutely amazing people like you guys, in like Turning Cogs at the core of like 20 people in this community for us. You guys have made it so that we can continue to operate without just pouring our personal money into this business and, running dry. You guys are making it so we can keep doing this. So that's another reason why this content and this stream and stuff is important, is because you guys let us keep functioning. We will get to a point where we won't need any of that at all anymore, and that'll be a great future. But that's why I don't like push for donations or anything like that, or remind you guys, hey, we need subs, we need like it's kind of whack. That's not the point of this. Like, yeah, it's different. You guys know, I've said it a billion times. Showing a loss on paper means no taxes. Yeah, dude. Didn't turn a profit for the first 6 years. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I believe that, man.
Just good business.
Spend money to make money. Government.
No, yeah, I'm doing a whole thing on my taxes right now where I'm like starting a company that only employs me, so I can pay myself a salary so that I can pay fewer taxes than I was paying otherwise.
You gotta fucking do that. Yeah. Yep. You have to do it. I mean, because otherwise you just go broke. And you're like, being honest.
As a self-employed person, you're paying like 31% tax, and if you aren't self-employed, it's like 17, and then the company's paying part of it as well. But like ultimately, I'm able to avoid X amount of dollars just by doing that, and it is really silly, and it has been a lot of work and a lot of annoyance for me to have to do too. And I don't know.
Adder's out here blowing all his per diem on Dan Flash's crazy patterned shirts, man.
But yeah, no, get that company card. Anytime I buy computer parts or anything now, at least shit's a write-off.
Yo, I'm so glad you caught that reference. I didn't know. I felt like you might be a Tim Robinson enjoyer, but I wasn't sure. The patterns are crazy. They're more expensive. He's in line right now. Your cart is full of like 3 new shirts, and it's like 10 grand. If you guys were not aware, I was referencing I Think You Should Leave, which is really fucking weird, but there's this...
We're talking about how nice his shirt is or something.
It's a sketch comedy, and there's one where he's like in a business conference, but Tim Robinson's like laying on the couch in the back, and they're like, Kenny, what's your update? And then a person in the room, it's Karen, I don't know, but Karen's like, I just want to point out that Kenny's spending all of his per diem on shirts from Dan Flash's, and he starts crashing out, and he's like, you don't understand, the shirts are really expensive, and they have these very intricate patterns, and the patterns are what make them more expensive. And he's like, I'm so tired because I was up all night shopping for them, and it's like literally irrelevant to the meeting, and the whole meeting is just derailed by it. I haven't eaten in a week. I had to get the latest from Dan Flash's. Yeah, exactly. Writing a text to a friend about the Chair Company finale. Dude, Chair Company fucks me up, man. So did Friendship. Like, both of those were really hard for me to watch. And I loved Uncut Gems, but I felt the same way. I was like, oh my God, this is making me like have a fucking panic attack.
That's how a lot of those skits are. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, they're just so uncomfortable and so weird.
Yep.
Friendship could have been amazing. Shame they didn't ride the wave that they started with that one. I think Friendship is the type of movie that gets better the more you watch it. Because then, because the initial shock goes away, and then you start remembering these really funny moments. You see them in like a new light. So I kind of want to watch it again. I fell asleep watching it the other night, and I was laughing more. I was having a good time, but yeah, I'll have to check it out again. Cool. I think we'll call it there. We ran a little long for you guys. We took a vacation last week, so
appreciate the Stevie Raiders.
Yeah,
listen to us yap for a little bit. So. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow afternoon, about an hour from now.
Yes, sir.
Looks like good old Turning Cog is actually live. So
let's raid
over there,
Cog, dude.
First time ever.
Yes, let's get him. All right, I'm clicking the raid.
Everybody, go harass Turning Cog for us. I think he's actually working on some lights for Dread for us. So very appreciative of all that he's doing.
Oh, he's all by himself in there, guys. Give him some love.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to click start. So we've got like 10 seconds. It's queuing everybody up. All right, you guys are loaded into the hopper, getting ready to be fired out of a cannon directly into the sun that is turning cog. I mean, I hope not. I hope he doesn't consume you all because I want to see you guys tomorrow.
Hit us up in Discord. Come hang out. We'll be around. We'll definitely be here tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing all you guys.
Yeah, keep that streak alive, Brightside. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
More Dread Dev, more yapping.